history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day not be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character.
Hello, Mr. Denali.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing today?
Doing good. Just give me like 2 minutes, okay?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you was getting my communication.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Give me like 90 seconds. I'll be there in 1 second, okay?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
His lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right now in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. One day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I want to start with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, my country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let free.
All righty. I thought You know, that speech always gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it. That, along with Barack Obama speech at the 2004 National Committee, we kind of put Mr. Barack Obama on the national scene thanks to John Kerry, the nominee at that time. Certain speeches like that always just give me goosebumps, chills. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Montgomery?
Yes, I do, because I deeply respect those myself.
Absolutely, 100%.
How you doing, Mr. Denali?
Doing well, Mr.
Got a little background conversation.
Absolutely, Mr. Deadpool is a good friend of the platform, and
Okay.
yeah, he's a good friend of the platform. So Mr. Deadpool's up here. All right. So as you know, we got there it is, Deadpool coming through with manifestation hands. Love it, love it, love it. All right. And we got Miss Yo-Yo as well. Miss Yo-Yo, how are you, dear?
Hey, everybody.
Doing great. You doing okay?
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited about today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see here. I see we got some other people. We're gonna have some people up here, but I'm gonna ask that everybody just remain quiet if you're gonna be up here while Mr. Montgomery is speaking. I'm gonna ask you to do that. Give me 1 second. Let me try to expand this a little bit. All right, let's see here. More than nothing right here. Okay. All right, we'll get one more person up here. Okay. All right, we'll get one more person up here, and we'll kind of leave it at that. All right? All right. So, again, anybody who's up on the panel, please, let's let the conversation flow, and we'll open it up later for questions. But we want to get Mr. Montgomery's story out, because I tell you, as I told Mr. Montgomery the last, because it was a week ago Saturday that we met at Stacey Abrams' Man Talk at Springfield Baptist Church. And
Yes.
was out there doing interviews, and your friend Mr. Melvin said, "Hey, you got to talk to my friend." And I said, "Okay, no problem. Let's go. Let's talk." And you gave a speech. You gave something about Stacey and democracy and things like that. And after the cameras went off, he told me, like that. And after the cameras went off, he told me, you got a little bit of feedback. I don't know if that's Mr. Melvin in the background or not. But he told me about that it was his birthday, one, and then two, that he had just got released 13 months ago. And I said, "Oh, wow, okay." And then he gave me the number, 49 years and 4 months. And I was like, what? That's the story. Forget the politics. The politics will take care of itself. We need to get you back on the record. I said, can I turn the cameras back on, sir? He did, and he gave me another 6-7 minutes, and I said, "Wow, this is a powerful story, and it's something that we need to bring to the show to let people hear his story, because it's an amazing story." So I definitely want to thank Mr. Montgomery for gracing us with his story and gracing us with a little time of his, because his time is very valuable. Went in at 1974 and got out at 67 years old. So, Mr. Melvin, are you ready, sir? Mr. Melvin, unmute yourself. Hit that microphone. It's got the line through it. Hit it, and then that will unmute you. Mr. Montgomery, if you see that microphone, it has a line through it. If you hit it,
Yes, I just saw it. I got it. I got it.
Awesome. All right. So,
Yeah,
I was just giving the people a little, as far as what happened, how we met, and everything like that. And you told me that powerful story. So, what I like to start with, what kind of upbringing with your parents did you have?
Well, my father died when I was very young. I was 9 years old, and I didn't know him very well, because they had my mother and father had divorced when I was younger than that. So I didn't know my father very, very well at all, and so you could say I grew up in a one-parent home until my mother remarried when I was about 13, 14 years old when we moved from North Chicago, and we moved to the Flint, Michigan. And it was a very nice middle class neighborhood. My stepfather, he was a foreman at GM, if I remember correctly. And but that marriage only lasted a short time. And I was in Flint for only 4 years before I was incarcerated, and started that 49 year and 4 month ordeal, I guess you could say. And one correction was that when I got out in 2023 last year, I was still 66, but within a month, because my birthday is August 17th, so within a month I was 67.
Okay.
But for the first month out, I was still 66. But I went in at 17 and I got out at 66, and the total time was it was exactly 49 years and 4 months.
Okay. Wow, 49 years and 4 months. So your father is passes away at 9 years old, and so you're 9. So 9 to 17, what was life like with? I assume you have siblings, or was this you and your mom?
No, I had older sisters who were married and stayed in the Chicago area when we moved. And my older brother, who was 4 years older than me, Stanley, me, I was 13, 14, and my younger brother, who was about 10. The three of us moved to Flint with my mother, and we lived with our stepfather in a middle class neighborhood, as I mentioned, and I gained a stepbrother named Mark.
Okay, got it. Okay,
And
so go ahead, continue. Sorry.
oh no, I was just going to say that it was a nice middle class neighborhood, and it was mixed. It was a multi-ethnic neighborhood, and I went to junior high and started high school there, but before I finished high school at 17, I was incarcerated.
Okay, so you're just going along and kid stuff, 13, 14, teenage, 16, and 17, this thing happens. Can you go
Right.
into a little detail about what happened that fateful night?
Well, I don't want to go into exact detail because I plan on writing a book about this, and I want to leave some things for the book.
Okay.
And and so when it comes to the night of the crime, I'm going to save that for the book. But basically, as I mentioned to you at the church, me and my co-defendant Greg, and we were out hanging out, and I think we stopped by my house that night. And teenagers, I think it was a weekend night, like a Friday or a Saturday, and there's often little, back then they called them quarter parties, where somebody would throw a party in their basement, and for high school kids, and where you dance and socialize, and so we were talking about finding a party. Somebody had mentioned one that was being given that night, and we ran into a guy we know called we called him Bags. I'll just leave it at that right now. But he was actually the person who committed the crime, and because we spent some time with him that night, in between the time that he did what he did, or him and somebody else did what they did, I don't know. I don't know the facts of what actually happened at the murder because I was not there. But he was with us long enough for about maybe an hour or two, to where when he was picked up in relationship to this crime, he decided that And somehow he would blame it on me and Greg. And so the police picked us up because while he was incarcerated in the city and jail, being drilled by the police, he made up a story, a 30-page, which came out to 30 pages long. He made up a story about how me and Greg actually did the crime that he did. And this is the proof. Well, he gave them a couple of knives and some property related to the crime. Well, I didn't give them the property. I didn't give them the weapons, nor did my friend Greg. Mm-hmm. And so it should have dawned on the police that, well, if this guy knows where his weapons are and he has property related to the crime, how are these other two young men related to the crime except by his word?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as things go, when we went to trial, went to preliminary hearings and things of that nature.
Before you get to that, so they came and picked you and your friend up. Is that what happened?
Right. Well, as a matter of fact, I think it was exactly a week, approximately a week after after Baggs was picked up. He and after he told his story, I guess the police felt they had enough from his story to pick me and Greg up. And so one night, 5 o'clock in the morning, they banged on the family door, and the police came in and arrested me. And from my understanding, the same night they arrested Greg. First, you go to the city jail when you're arrested. Yeah, you go to the next day you're arraigned, and from the arraignment you go to the county jail. And I ended up in the county jail for approximately 8 months fighting the case. Before
you get to that, your mother's there. You're 17. Do
my
they tell
mother
you guys what the crime is, what you're being accused of, or how did that play out?
No, they don't tell you. They just read you your rights. They don't tell you what you're arrested for. You don't find out what you're arrested for, basically, until you go to arraignment. And as I mentioned at our last discussion, I didn't have any funds to hire a lawyer for a good defense. My family didn't have any funds to hire a lawyer for a good defense. So I ended up with what you call a state defender or a state lawyer. Right. And or a public defender, as they're often called, and so I ended up with someone who really didn't have my best interests at heart, because public defenders are usually overworked and underpaid, and so they just give the bare minimum to a case. And so most cases end up, as a matter of fact, in America, period, not only Michigan, but in America, period, 90% of all criminal cases end up in a plea bargain. That's because most young people or people who end up arrested for a crime don't have the funds to hire a lawyer, so they end up with a public defender, and public defenders do not do the best work, and they end up having a lot of convictions or plea bargains, as they call it, or they're officially called plea agreements. Some states have different names for them, like a Cobb's agreement or something of that nature. But basically, 90% of crimes are settled in America through
plea bargain.
Plea agreements, because they would not, all states, I shouldn't say most states, all states don't have the resources to prosecute, to go to trial on every case. And that's why 90% of cases are plea bargain, because prosecutors will stack charges against a defendant and scare them into accepting a plea bargain in order to avoid the stack charges that they, come up with. A lot of times they charge guys with something that has nothing to do with the actual crime, but they use that tactic to scare defendants, especially young, naive defendants, and to accepting a plea bargain. And as when I was incarcerated, as I mentioned before, I became a paralegal. I earned several certificates in paralegal science, and I worked in 5 different law libraries within the Michigan prison system. At different institutions I was at different prisons I was at. And I've learned so much. I learned so much about the entire system, about how there's so many guys, way more than the public thinks. Young men, usually black men, who are in the system, got caught up in the system, shouldn't be there at all because they were railroaded through the courts by prosecutors who didn't care about who really did what. They just wanted to know, they just wanted to earn another conviction. So when they do their political thing every so many years to get rehired or to go up to a higher political office, they can claim, hey, I took this many thousands of criminals off the street. And most of them were, young men who were just misdirected and didn't need to be in prison. As a matter of fact, just one example of a prosecutor that might surprise some people, the head prosecutor in my case, the head prosecutor in Genesee County, Flint, excuse me, later was indicted for connections to organized crime. And I don't remember the outcome because that was 40 something years ago that happened. And I read about his case in the papers, and I wasn't really interested in following his case in detail because I was too busy trying to get myself out and others I felt who didn't deserve to be incarcerated. And I was successful many times in getting cases dismissed on other prisoners. And there's several prisoners several men in the free world now because of me and my work. Right. And although it took me much longer, I was principally responsible for my own freedom.
Okay, so what is when you get arrested and they take you down to the detention center and you have an older, well, I guess, was your mother remarried at the time? Because you said you gained a step brother.
Well, actually, my mother was in the process of divorce because after my father died, my mother ended up remarrying 3 more times. And I would say one of the things that men don't realize, that when they marry a woman who has several children, they don't realize what they're taking on sometimes, the additional costs and so on and so forth. And I don't know for a fact because I can't say what's actually went on with my mother and her and my stepfather's relationship. I only know that those relationships only lasted a certain number of years before she ended up in divorce again, and the marriage ended. And so at that time when I was arrested, my mother was in the process of
getting divorced.
Yeah, getting divorced.
What's her mindset at that time?
Third divorce. Huh?
What's her mind? What are you guys having conversations? Is she trying to get a lawyer? Is she talking to family members? She's got to be like very, very, very.
Well, I don't know because I'm incarcerated. But when my brother came to visit me in the county jail, he told me that nobody has the funds to hire a lawyer for me, so I'm going to have to settle with a public defender.
Okay.
So the family just didn't have the funds at the time.
Right. Did your mother? I'm sure she came and visited you, I guess, I'm assuming.
Oh, of course. Yeah. My mother came, my family came and visited me. But there's, that's something that fluctuates. People go on with their lives because they have to, and that's what you expect. And that, to the point that they help you, and they visit you.
Got it.
When you're incarcerated. And
Okay.
I was fortunate that way, because I know prisoners who go decades without getting one visit, and it's a cold-blooded world.
Right. Okay. So naturally, your mom's upset. There's no money. You have a public defender, and now you're moving on. I'm assuming they're giving your public defender the evidence that they have. You know that you didn't do it, and I guess, did you have a co-defendant, or were you guys trying?
Yes, I had a co-defendant, because the guy who I called Bags, that was his nickname. He testified not only against me, but another friend who we happened to be together that night. And when we came across Bags, he decided that because he came across both of us, he's going to try to put his crime on both of us. And like I said, I could go into a lot of detail, but I don't want to go into a lot of detail right now, because, like I said, I want to write a book about this. I want people to know exactly how the criminal justice system is in America. And I got 49 years of experience. My degree is in my Bachelor of Science degree is in community development and behavior. And so my specialty is to understand communities. My specialty is to understand social groups. My specialty is to understand human behavior. And most people, because they have to deal with bills and just dealing with surviving life, they don't pay much attention to what's going on in the criminal justice system in America, unless they have a family member that is incarcerated. Other than that, most people go, about their daily lives, and they don't concern themselves with people who are locked up. They accept the demagogues, because most politicians are good demagogues. They get in office by trying to scare the public about crime. And the perfect example is like during the 80s and 90s, and the beginning of the 2000s, crime rates were going down, but the coverage of crime was up 600%. And so, there's a lot about the criminal justice system that is totally unfair, as I mentioned before. And it's something that, it would be nice if more people got involved to change. Because the perfect example, when I went into the Michigan prison system, it was only 7,000 people in the whole system. By the time the end of the 90s came around, it was 50,000 prisoners. End of the 90s, early 2000, it was 50,000 prisoners. So it went from 7,000 to 50,000, mass incarceration in Michigan, and the same pattern existed all over this country. Okay. But my personal experience is what I know you want to focus on, and so what's your next question?
Yeah, I know we're not going to get the whole thing, and hopefully you'll be able to come back and, we'll tie it all together. But, okay, so you get convicted, you have a pay lawyer, he gets the evidence, you're telling him, I'm assuming that you're not, you're
No, I don't have a paid lawyer. I don't have
I'm sorry, a public defender.
Yeah, you said I had a paid lawyer. I had a public defender.
Public defender, you're telling him you're innocent of these charges, and then your co-defendant turned state witness on you, right?
Yeah, it was me and my co-defendant, and then there was the Bags who turned state's evidence.
Did your co-defendant turn on you?
No, he didn't. No, both me and Greg stuck to our story that we were innocent.
Got it. Okay.
At the trial, and that trial was eventually overturned.
Right. So when that's happening in the moment, he's trying to defend you as best he can. He's overworked and all those kind of things like that. And then it comes down Was it a judge trial or was it a jury?
No, it was a jury trial. 12 jury trials on October 1st, 1974. The
Do you remember the
jury,
makeup of the jury?
yeah, the jury. It was 12 members, and they found us guilty based on what they heard Cloris Thames say, Baggs, and based on the prosecutor gave his best shot to make us look guilty, even though we weren't guilty. And see, the thing about it is, in Michigan, you have what's called a felony murder charge. Under felony murder, if you're with a person who commits a crime, commits a murder, and you didn't do the murder, you are considered just as guilty.
Got it.
So even though you didn't lift a finger to harm someone, under Michigan law, at the time I was convicted, the judge told the jury that even if we were simply there, we are just as guilty as the man who did the murders.
Got
And
it.
that's the felony murder rule of Michigan. And they altered that.
Instead of using the M word, yes, you use the word unalive just for TikTok purposes because they don't like that word on the app. So let's use.
They don't. I wasn't aware of that. Okay, okay.
Unalive.
Well, I guess I can say felony unalive law.
There you go.
Okay, that's interesting. But anyway, under the felony unalive law in Michigan, if you're in the presence of someone who commits a murder and you don't immediately report it, they consider you just as guilty as a person who did it, and you will get the same amount of time or worse, depending on the circumstances. And me and Greg were sentenced on Halloween, October 31st. After we were convicted on October 1st, the judge chose to sentence us on Halloween, October 31st, 1974. And by the way, it was an interesting occurrence that made that day, my conviction day, a bittersweet event, because my daughter, who I named Kadada, is Swahili for little sister. She was born the same day I was convicted.
Okay. Wow. So going through all that, your girlfriend, I guess, or a woman friend of yours, was impregnated and she gave birth on October 31st, the same day you were sentenced to. And what was the actual sentence? Was it life?
Yeah, I was sentenced to life for felony unalive in the commission of a robbery, and life for felony unalive in the commission of a burglary. And what that sentence doesn't show, or that charge doesn't show, is that this whole thing came about because of a drug deal that the guy who testified against me and Greg was in the process of making with one of the victims. And one of the victims' brother happened to be a drug dealer in Detroit. And that was part of the motivation that I think the actual perpetrator of the murder was thinking of, because of thinking of stashed drugs and money in the home from the victim's brother, having a place away from his actual, place of business in Detroit. His mother and brother lived in Flint, and in the male a teenager who was killed, it was his brother who was supposedly a big drug dealer in Detroit at that time. And like I said, over the years, I've concluded that the whole motivation behind this originally was the Baggs' intent to find a stash of drugs and money.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that thickens it. October 31st, your daughter's born, and then you're sentenced.
No, I was sentenced on October 31st. My daughter was born, and I was found guilty the same day on October 1st.
Your daughter was born on October 1st.
Yes, and I was found guilty on October 1st, 1974. And me and my co-defendant, who stuck to our story the whole time during trial, after we were convicted on October 1st, we were sentenced to not 2 natural lives each of us at the age, we had both turned 18 in the county jail when we were fighting the case. We started at 17. We became 18 by the time we were sentenced, and we were sentenced on Halloween, October 31st, 1974.
Okay. All right. So they take you back, and I'm sure psychologically you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. That you actually did your public defender tell you it doesn't look good? What was he saying during the trial, and then ultimately convicted? What was he giving you? Was he giving you warning that we're in some trouble here? Was anything like that going on like we see on TV?
No, he wasn't discussing that type of stuff with me. He made a theory of the case, because that's what they do. The prosecutor has a theory of the case that he pushes forth that tries to show we're guilty, and the public defender has a theory of the case that he pushes forth to try to show that we're innocent. And his theory was that we were accessories after the fact, because after Baggs did what he did, I don't know, like I said before, I don't know whether he had help or whether he did it alone. The murders were done, and he had property that he wanted to get rid of. And me and Greg, my co-defendant, we were dumb enough to help him get rid of the property. And that's the only thing that tied us to the actual murders. And so that was my public offender's argument, was the argument of the facts that I gave him, and the argument of the facts that my co-defendant gave him. And the facts are that we were what you call accessories after the fact, and we didn't harm a hair on anyone whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. So you're even with all that, he didn't raise doubts about the evidence, any kind of DNA or anything like that, like we see now. Because I know it's 19.
Well, DNA wasn't as strong as much of a scientific exact science back then as it is now. Well, they found no fingerprints whatsoever.
Okay.
There was no fingerprints. There was no fingerprints whatsoever anywhere. Any place, any item connected to the crime of mine or my co-defendant Greg.
Right. And did they have to explain that in court?
Yeah, it came up in court, but obviously the instructions that the judge gave the jury before jury deliberations, he told the jury that, okay, these guys are claiming that they weren't there. But if you believe, that's what he told the jury, if you come to the conclusion that they were there, whether they killed somebody or not, they're just as guilty.
Right.
And so, although we didn't harm anybody, the jury came to the conclusion in their mind that we were there. And so they found us guilty because that's what the judge told them to do. He told them that they had no choice, that if we were there, whether we killed anybody or not, we were just as guilty as the perpetrator.
So the instructions, in your estimation, kind of sealed the fate.
Right. And that's what got me my first reversal of my case. Mm-hmm. My case was reversed because of the way the judge gave the jury instruction. And so I was originally incarcerated in 1974. When I got into prison, I immediately enrolled in school. I said, Ignorance brought me here, but ignorance.
Take your time. Take your time, sir. Well, I'm so happy that Mr. Montgomery's here to share the story with us, because a lot of us don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. We don't know how the sausage is made. We just hear about it and, we go on about our day. But this is like real. This is humanity. Man lost 49 years and 4 months of his life for a crime that he did not commit. It's tough.
Yeah, but
It's okay. Man, I want to thank you again for coming here and sharing your story with us. Please take your time.
yeah, it brings up a lot of emotion.
I know. I mean, you would be human if it didn't. So I want to give you the time to, take your time.
But anyway, I told myself, I said, ignorance brought me here, but ignorance is not going to keep me here. And so I immediately started studying the law. I immediately enrolled in high school so I could finish my high school diploma. And I immediately enrolled in a welding program. I ended up getting certification in 4 areas of welding within a year. Oxyacetylene, TIG, MIG, and arc welding. Instead of finishing my high school diploma, I decided to take the GED because a couple of teachers told me that my grades were so good I'd probably pass the GED and could go on to college because they had the college program at the time.
Take your time, sir. Here's your first raw emotion.
Yeah, but let me shake that off. Come on.
Okay, listen. Those are real emotions. So, a lot of people say men not supposed to cry. But man, listen, as I've said many times since I met you, with your attitude of gratitude, I mean, it's amazing considering that you spent 49 years and 4 months in prison for a crime that you didn't commit. I can attest, I've been in this man's energy. I've talked to him several times, and he has that attitude of gratitude. And it would be easy for him to be bitter and be angry. Why me? Why me? And he said, no, I'm going to try to do the best I can with what I got. And he's got some sour ass lemon that he's trying to make the sweetest lemonade that's possible. And that's what Mr. Montgomery is doing. So you take your time.
Yeah, but to continue, so I finished my GED, I finished my welding, and at the same time I was taking classes in law. And because as I said, matter of fact, I was riding from the county jail to the state prison of Southern Michigan in Jackson. And in the backseat of that car with my co-defendant, I told myself, I said, ignorance got me into this position, but ignorance isn't going to keep me here. And so that's what I did. When I got the first week I got there is when the minute I went through orientation, because every prison, when you go to a prison, it has an orientation to familiarize you with the environment so you could be as successful as getting through it as possible. They tell you what programs are available, what to avoid, and that type of thing. And so, as I said, I finished my GED. I finished my welding program. I finished some law programs, and then I immediately signed up for a college program, and I finished a 2-year program, associate's degree in arts and science, in 11 months. It was a 2-year program, but I was so focused at the time that I ended up graduating with honors, and I finished it in 11 months. And it was Montcalm Community College. I enrolled in 1977, and I graduated in 1978. And so there wasn't a bachelor program at the prison I was at the time, and I was in Ionia, Michigan at that time. I went to I continued to take classes with Montcalm even after I graduated, because they had more than one program. I had completed a program of associate's degree in arts and science, and so I decided to take additional classes. And before actual baccalaureate bachelor degree program came in that I could enroll in, I ended up getting 90 credits beyond my degree, and not 90, but 30 more. In all, I had 90 something, including my degree. So I had 90 something credit hours, and they brought in Central Michigan University, and in the college programs, we would have the exact same curriculum that the campus students, campus students had. And so when we, graduated with honors, or what ended up on the dean's or the president list, it was, it showed up on the list, just like we were free civilians, but only we were in prison going through the same program, because the prison had, at that time, it had a wing of the prison that was devoted only to college students. And when I finished my associate's degree of arts and science within 11 months, thank you, the director of the college, I guess he was so impressed by that, and the minute a job opening came, he asked me to be his head clerk. And so I ended up being the college clerk of Montcalm Community College in Ionia, Michigan Reformatory Prison. And I was going to college and being the head clerk of the college at the same time. And then when Central Michigan University brought a program in, since Central Michigan University was using the same office, the director of the Central Michigan University program, he said, in order to save money, hey, will you become Central Michigan University head clerk for the prison? And so I was doing 2 jobs as head clerk for 2 different schools. Did something happen? Hello?
No, you're fine. I can hear you.
Okay. I had a little interference in my screen, and so I thought I lost audio.
You're fine. My apologies for interrupting you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I ended up being the head clerk for Montcalm Community College and Central Michigan University at the same time. And so I got into the Central Michigan program, and my degree was community development, and my area of concentration was behavior. And so I finished that in 1981, and I decided to move on from that prison. They hadn't transferred me on their own, which they usually do transfer prisoners a lot. So you don't. One of the reasons is so you don't become too familiar with staff, and so I asked my counselor, my prison counselor, because every rock or floor of the prison has a counselor, and the counselor, he would handle something like 100 more prisoners and handle their files and whatever programs they were in, or if they were getting in trouble, he would handle, them going to administrative segregation or whatever that prisoner had to deal with, that counselor had to deal with it too. And so, one male or female would have to have to deal with all that information and paperwork. And a lot of times guys got shortchanged because the counselors were overworked. But anyway, I went on, I transferred to another institution and continued my involvement in academics and organizational programs, because that's one of the things I always did. Any community organization like the JCs or something of that nature, I would involve myself in, because it gives you a chance to improve skills of public speaking, writing skills, social interaction skills. And so I did those things because I said, I remember one time I told one of my professors, I said, I know that geniuses are supposedly born, but academically, I'm going to make myself a genius because I'm going to study so hard. I'm going to become one. And he laughed about it because he said, he said, because geniuses aren't made that way. I said, watch me. But anyway.
But I'm curious, like, it's 17, 20, 25. How is your mental dealing with going to a prom, going to the mall, and now you're in the midst of grown people in prison, and you're trying to navigate? What's your mindset during all this time? I know you're trying to learn, but just the early things of life in prison.
I learned that you can learn how to be alone in a crowd.
Okay.
Because you have to be alone, because there's so much crime and madness going on in prison. See, because most prisoners, unfortunately, don't take advantage of what programs do exist. I'd say as a college clerk, I realized that only about 10 to 15% of the prisoners took advantage of the educational program, because I would enroll prisoners. I knew the population of the prison, and I co-founded an organization with other prisoners called the Lifers Law Program, and we studied how to improve the chances of lifers and long indeterminate sentence holders to get out of prison as quick as possible, and what would it take, and so we studied the statistics and everything to do with prison life and things. But anyway, most prisoners they're gambling, they're getting high, they're indulging in sex. They're everything you can think of goes on in prison that goes on in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you are going to progress as an individual, you have to decide that you got to learn how to be alone in a crowd so you don't participate in that madness. And so I picked up the study of yoga. I picked up the study of meditation, and that saved me, because meditation teaches you how to focus your attention, and it's equivalent to a magnifying glass. Light, when it's dispersed, it gives you warmth, it gives you comfort. But if you focus it right, it can destroy or it can create. And like a magnifying glass, I focused my attention because meditation and yoga gave me the discipline to focus. And so I used to do this meditation that I used to ask myself during meditation. It was called an active. You have directed meditation, you have non-directed meditation. But in short, directed meditation is when you pick a mantra or a phrase or an aphorism, and you focus your attention on that in order to develop insight into what you're talking about, or what you're focused on. And I developed this aphorism that I used to repeat as I meditate. I would say, without relationship to anything or anyone outside of yourself, who and what are you? And so I was learning to define who and what I am without relationship to anybody outside of myself, because I was in a cesspool. I don't want to define myself in relationship to a cesspool. And so that helped me develop a focus, and that the key to life is consciousness.
Right.
And wherever you direct your consciousness, you direct your power. And so I learned I learned to direct my consciousness to everything positive.
Wow.
And so I say, what is life? Life is consciousness. What is living? Living is directed consciousness. And so I learned to direct like I said, I learned to direct my consciousness to nothing but positive endeavors. So if I wasn't doing a yoga routine, if I wasn't meditating, if I wasn't studying, I was in a classroom. If I wasn't in a classroom, I was at work helping other people get through their college program. I was enrolling guys, I was tutoring guys, and then in order to lighten my load, because I was the clerk for both Montcalm Community College and Central Michigan University at the same time, I asked the directors. I said, "Look, I'm gonna continue being the clerk for Central Michigan University, but for Montcalm Community College, let me be the librarian, because that's a less stressful job." And so I ended up being the college librarian for Montcalm Community College, because Central Michigan University and Montcalm Community College had a separate room that was a library for college students, and nobody but college students could utilize that. So I ended up being like a librarian mentor. And so guys would come to me for, their study work. They would come to me for prison advice, because they respected the way I carried myself. And so I ended up being like one professor. I was put up on they had what's called special parole requests. And a special parole request is when staff see a prisoner that is so productive that they feel he shouldn't be in prison. So staff request that he be released. And
Take your time. This is humanity, everybody. This is human life. This is raw emotion. And man, I want to thank Mr. Montgomery again for coming here and sharing with us, because this can't be easy, as he's talking about. We're talking about 13 months, maybe 14 months now. And he released after spending 49 years and 4 months in prison, and for a crime he did not commit. This is raw emotion. I was born in the year 74, and he got sentenced October 1st October 1st of 74, and then sentenced October 31st. He also had a child on the same day that he was convicted. So that is.
But to continue, 7 different staff members wrote what's called special parole requests for me, and I had been in prison only 9 years, and I had only been in prison 9 years on 100 to 150 year sentence. Now, I told you at first I was sentenced to natural life. Well, when I got to work, when I told you the first thing I did was, the first thing I did was enroll in school.
Right.
So it paid off. because I learned the law and I came up with an issue, and I got a public defender, and I won my appeal in April of 1976, 2 years, not quite 2 years after I was convicted, but it was 2 years after I had been arrested at 17, and in April of 76, I got a reversal of my sentence, and so they should have gave me a new trial, but they didn't give me a new trial because my conviction was overturned. So when your conviction is overturned, that means that whatever went on in your trial is null and void and means nothing, basically. You know what I'm saying? No, I know you don't know what I'm saying because it's technical legal stuff. But let me put it this way: when a trial is overturned, 90% of what's happened in that trial can be considered null and void. And so my sentence of natural life became null and void. I no longer had a sentence of natural life. They should have took me back and given me a new trial, but the system being what it is, it decided that they were simply going to resentence me to a lesser charge, because my appeal argument was that the judge told the jury that I was guilty if I did nothing. So how can you tell a jury that, if you decide that this man was present during these murders and he did nothing at all, he's still guilty? And so the higher court reversed that trial and said that trial is no longer good because the judge told the jury the wrong thing. But instead of taking me back and giving me a new trial in front of a new jury, they took me back, charged me with second-degree murder, and resentenced me, and the judge gave me 100 to 150 years. I was 19 years old. As a matter of fact, it was 2 days after. As a matter of fact, it was 2 days after my birthday. My birthday is August 17th. 2 days after my birthday in 1976, this judge gave a 19-year-old kid who he don't know from the man in the moon 100 to 150 years.
Wow.
But I just accepted it as part of the system. I said, okay, you're going to do this to me? I'm going to go back to prison. I'm going to keep on studying, and I'm going to figure out a way to win this case. So I went back to prison after I was resentenced. And by the way, the same thing happened to my co-defendant. Because the appellate court ruled, although it was my argument and my a brief that got the reversal, my legal brief that got the reversal, they said it would be unfair to not reverse the case of my co-defendant, Greg, because we had a joint trial. And so his situation was the same as mine. The jury heard the judge say that whether me and Greg did nothing at all, the mere fact that we were there, if the jury decided from what they heard, they believed that we might not have killed him, but we were there, we're guilty. Okay. But okay, anyway, I get 150 years, 100 to 150 years. Greg get 100 to 150 years. We both go back to prison from the county jail in Genesee County, Michigan. So like I said, I decided I'm going to figure out how to win this case. So, I got jobs in the law libraries, and when I wasn't working helping somebody else, I was working to help myself. And I did this for, decades at different prisons. Like I said, I worked at 5 different law libraries in 5 different prisons. And when I wasn't working as a law clerk or a general library clerk, I ended up doing things. I became, I took the horticulture program and became a horticulture tutor. I was an English tutor at one time. And these were things I did after I was a college clerk. I got certification in culinary arts and certification in horticulture and things with that. And I just kept educating myself. And another thing I did, which I mentioned to you during our first interview, in 1981, 82, during the end of 81, early 82, I decided that the NAACP would be a good thing to have inside of Michigan prisons, because I happened to run across an article in a magazine. I think it was, matter of fact, it was the NAACP magazine called The Crisis. I don't know if they still publish that, but at that time they published a magazine, a monthly magazine called The Crisis. And in The Crisis, I read that the federal prison system had NAACP programs in it. So I started a letter campaign. I wrote to the national branch, I wrote local branches, I wrote the state branch, and I said, hey, I want to start a NAACP in Michigan prisons. And I'm at the Muskegon Correctional Facility now. What do I have to do to start a prison here, to create a charter in a branch? And so they communicated with me and told me what I needed to do, and I organized it. I eventually had over 100 members in the branch we put on all kinds of programs. We had writing programs, we had drama programs, we had psychotherapy programs. We did quite a bit of things, and we even had athletic teams under the NAACP. And we educated a lot of fellow prisoners. We had a philosophy program called Liberation Theology, and where you could learn the philosophy of liberation theology, which was real active in the Catholic related churches. But it was something that, some guys were interested in, and the class ended up having like 30 students in it every time it was ran, and it was taught by Catholic priests. I contacted a local journalist, and the journalist, I convinced him to come into the prison and run a creative writing program. And so we had him coming in. I contacted a nationally certified therapist, and I convinced her to come in and run a psychotherapy program and a counseling group. And so the NAACP ended up being a power in that prison. And then prisoners who had encountered that, they went on to, when they were transferred, to open up branches or liaisons all through the state at different prisons. And so at one time back in the late 80s and the early 90s, you had NAACP branches all over Michigan prisons. And they would really educate and help prisoners. It was a really good program, and I can't thank the NAACP enough for allowing us to do that.
Right. Well, tell me this, Mr. Montgomery. What's going on with your family at this time? You're going through. You're doing amazing work in prison. You're there physically, but your mind is outside of prison, which is
right.
Very powerful. You had a child, so when you're 30, your child is 12. What is that? What's going on with that dynamic?
Well, I had family and I had friends outside, and so when it came to my daughter, as much as possible, we had contact visits. That means that we could sit in a room called the visiting room. And although we couldn't constantly hug or anything, we could sit across from each other and visit and get to know each other. And so from day one, before my daughter was a year old, I had people bringing her whatever prison I was at. Wow. I had people bringing her to visit me. And until she was an adult to where she could come on her own, there was not a year that passed that I didn't have people bringing her to see me, and although prisoners aren't allowed to run a business, prisoners aren't allowed to make any money because the average prisoner pay is like 89 cents a day.
Right.
And so, at least in Michigan, some states pay more to their prisoners when they do a job. But the average pay for a prisoner in Michigan is between 89 cents and $1.50 a day. And so you cannot do anything. And contrary to what most people believe, they think that the prison provides you with cosmetics and toiletries and all these things. They don't. They don't provide you with that. And so if you don't have a job and you don't have, or you don't have family willing to send you money, you will not have toiletry. You will not have cosmetics. You know what I'm saying? And because in most prisons, the food is so bad in the so-called child hall, you're going to be hungry all the time if you're not able to buy food out of the prison commissary, because every prison has a prison commissary that allows outside companies to make a profit off prisoners in prison by selling them food. And they give, and as a matter of fact, the department gets millions of dollars of commissions from these vendors that sell goods to prisoners. And so it's profitable to the prisons to not have good food in the child halls, because that's going to make prisoners buy food out the store from the money from their jobs or from money from their families, and just so they won't be hungry when they go to bed every night. And so one of the companies is Keefe Food Group. They provide stores. They're the exclusive provider of store goods to Michigan. They have a contract, and they give. The last time I read, they gave. Yeah, Keefe is spelled Keefe. Yes, Keefe Group, and they provide store goods to prisoners at a cost, and they give the Michigan Department of Corrections approximately. Last time I read, it was over $30 million a year. And that was way back in the early, when they first came in the 90s. And so by now, here it is in the early 2020s. I'm sure it's probably up to $50 million a year now. Yeah, but anyway.
I mean, there was phone calls too, the collect calls, and that's big money.
Oh yeah, The at one time for a 15-minute call, if your family was out of state, like most of my family was out of state in Michigan, it would cost me $19 for every 15 minutes of discussion, and the phones had a time limit, and they were constantly interrupted. You were constantly interrupted by a tape that said, "This is a call from a prisoner in the Michigan Department of Corrections." And so not only did you didn't get your full 15 minutes, but you just had to deal with what you had to deal with, and you paid literally $19 for 15 minutes.
Right. Now,
yeah, but let me give somebody credit. There's organizations, there's prisoners advocate organizations like American Friends Service Committee, and there's others too, which escape the names of them escape my mind at the moment. But they fought to get the phone charges for prisoners lowered. And if I remember right, it was around 2010 or so, that they successfully got the Department of Corrections to lower the cost of prisoner calls to their family. And they'll still cost you money, but it's not as much as it did like back in the mid 90s, where I had to pay $19 just for a 15-minute call.
Right. Now, we during our times that we've conversed, you told me about a marriage that you did in prison, right?
Yeah. Back in the 70s, they didn't allow females to work closely with prisoners. Like they couldn't work the cell blocks and things like that. But one of the female employees filed a suit in the 70s that said it was unfair because they couldn't make as much money as males if they didn't work the blocks. And so she won her lawsuit, and so by the 80s, you saw more and more female staff working in prison. And I happened to be working in the library in Muskegon in the 80s, and I met a young lady who happened to be 10 years older than me, but she looked much younger than she actually was. But like I said, she was 10 years older than me. And just working as her clerk, her law clerk, and her general library clerk, we became real friends. And when I got transferred, after working up under her for I think it was 4 years, she decided that she was going to quit her job so she could visit me, because staff can't visit prisoners. And so she quit her job and started visiting me. And after visiting me for some years, we decided to get married because we fell in love. And as you have the picture there, that's my ex-wife. And she stayed by my side for 16 years. Well, actually married 10 years, but I knew her 16 years altogether at that time when we divorced. But we divorced because, it's hard. I don't know what the average married person goes through in the free world. But in prison, the only time you can see, in Michigan anyway, because Michigan didn't have conjugal visits, the only time I could see my wife was on visits. And the only thing you can do on visits was get a hug and a kiss at the beginning of a visit, and a hug and a kiss at the end of a visit. During the visits, the most you could do was hold hands. And so after years of dealing with that, it created a deep, what would you call it? Irritation.
Yeah, look, it's difficult. That's a difficult life, I would imagine.
Right. It caused the emotional pain that I could not be home with her. Right. A real emotional pain. And so the emotional pain grew and grew. And I began to realize that we were growing apart because we would, small things would turn into argument. And that wasn't, anger directed at each other. It was tension created by the circumstance. But it ended up coming out in conflict between me and my ex-wife. And so one day, after thinking about it for months on end, I told her, I said, look, I want you to be psychologically healthy.
Right. Take your time. You loved her so much, you wanted her to be healthy, even though that was going to hurt you as well, not having her there.
There you go.
I understand. It's okay. It's not an easy situation. I mean, marriage is tough even when you're there every day. So, your all situation had to.
So I told her to go file a divorce, and at first she refused. For months, she refused. But then she saw the logic of my request, because it was like I said, it's a psychologically unhealthy.
Take your time, sir. While you take your time, when everybody continue to tap the screen, tap, tap, tap. We're sitting here with Mr. Montgomery, who spent 49 years and 4 months in a Michigan penitentiary for a crime he did not commit. So please continue to tap, tap, tap the screen. Let's push this out to the 4 you page.
No, I believe you. I believe you. Yeah, but anyway, she finally saw the logic of my argument, and although I hated to part with her, she finally filed for divorce, and we were divorced. And even after the divorce, she visited me for about a year before she decided, hey, this is still painful. I got to go on with my life. And so we would call it and talk as friends every now and then. But
are you still friends with her now, or? Well, she's 10 years older than you.
I say it's been about 2 years now that having nothing but phone calls as our communication, we kind of drifted apart, and she's gone on with her life. She did just what I wanted her to do.
Right. She's 78 right now.
Yeah, she's 78. She was 10 years older than me, but as you can see from the picture, even there, that was back in the 80s. She looks younger than me.
Right.
And she's just one of them persons with good genes, and they look younger than what they are.
Right. Well, I'm sure she was elated that you were finally freed.
Well, I haven't told her. I haven't told her because I didn't want to interrupt her life.
Wow.
And so I don't even know if she knows I'm out.
That's amazing. Still thinking of her, not wanting to interrupt her life with what you're going through. Wow. Selfless. Now, when you finally got the news that you were being released, who was the first person you called?
Oh, I called family member after family member.
Right. Your daughter, I'm sure, was on the list and all that. So, okay.
Yeah, my daughter, my brother, my 3 sisters, and then I started calling friends.
Grandchildren?
No, my daughter, she's one of those people who love children, but she love them long as they're not hers.
Understand that. Okay. Your
Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Your daughter's 50 then. No, your daughter's 50.
She'll be 50 this
October 1st.
No. 49. Okay. Yeah, she'll be 50 October 1st.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yep. Remember the same day I was found guilty.
Correct. Wow.
And,
So I'm sure you talked to her. That was emotional outburst, and I'm sure she couldn't contain it.
Oh yeah, she couldn't believe it, because so many times I've told my family, hey, I got an issue now. This one is going to get me out. Because I was constantly, every year, from the time I was resentenced, I was in that law library studying every chance I had free time to do so when I wasn't working in one. And so, after I did my other job, like horticulture tutor or English tutor or whatever I was doing at the time, I would just schedule, because you had to schedule your time to go to the law library, because they had the prison want to know where you at every minute of every day, of course, because you're a prisoner. And so I was going to the library maybe 3-4 times a week in the evening, sometimes weekends, studying. And I became pretty good. Like I said, I got cases dismissed on guys and won freedom for several people, probably as much as 20 different guys over the years. Wow. And a couple of them stayed in touch with me for a while, but there's only one of them that I helped get out in 2008, and he's still a friend, and we communicate on a regular basis, and he's a really good guy. He lives in Detroit, and I'm proud to have him as a friend.
Well, tell me this: what was it that finally did it? You want to go into that? You know, with many times you thought you had an issue and things like that. Tell me, can you tell us what finally did it? Where he's like, okay, wow, this is what we're going to do.
Well, I was there. A law came out on a case called Montgomery versus Louisiana, or Louisiana versus Montgomery. I forget who came first, but anyway, it was a case that said, this guy, he had natural life, and it was a case that said it is illegal, or proclaimed that it's illegal to sentence a juvenile to life, because the latest science that has been around for years now, says that the human brain is not fully developed until the age of 24, 25. And so that means that teenagers are impulsive, more reactive to negative influences, and more likely to act out in circumstances where they're not the perpetrators, but they're participating in something illegal because of their impulsiveness and their lack of maturity, their naivete, and so on and so forth. And so because the biophysiology of the human brain is what it is, the Supreme Court eventually ruled that you cannot put a juvenile in prison for the rest of his life. And so with that ruling all over the country, guys who had been convicted for murder at the age of 15, 14, 16, 17, and some states cut it off at 17, some states cut it off at 19. But anyway, after the law came into effect, states began to have a cutoff of you cannot give a person life when their crime was committed at an age when their brain was not fully developed. And so that case came out. What was it? I think it was 2016, if I remember right. But that's not that relevant. The fact is that was the case, and a couple of other cases that dealt with the reality that the human brain does not develop fully until it's at least 24 years old. And therefore, that means a youngster, a juvenile especially, is not functioning with a full deck, so to speak. Okay, and so the states across the country began to examine the cases of children who were given life when they were children, and now they're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just like me, because I was 17 when I caught this case. And although I no longer had life, my numbers were equivalent to life. And so it ruled that anybody under these type of sentences, in some states, when it came to numbers, like my situation, and Michigan eventually ruled that those sentences that are equivalent to life should be considered unconstitutional. And so I've, through a volunteer attorney and through my own research, eventually filed a motion for resentencing in the Genesee County Court. and asked, the court to rule my sentence unconstitutional. And the prosecutor could have objected, but after seeing all the accomplishments I had in prison and only a minimal amount of negative things, what they call prisoner tickets, like minor things, like mostly minor things, like I got a ticket once for being late for one of my classes when I was in college. Or say you at another time I was on the phone when count time was closed, and even though I got back to my room or my cell before the officer made his round for count, I guess he just was having a bad day, and he decided, hey, you were on the phone during count, even though when I came around, you were in your cell. And so he gave me a ticket for what's called out of place. And so I was found guilty of it. But anyway, I had, in my whole 49 years and 4 months, I only had, maybe 13 misconduct tickets, and they were basically something minor or something I shouldn't have gotten. And that the last time I had a misconduct, I think it was 2000. Oh man, what was that? 2000. Was it 9? No, 2012, I think it was. And what happened was, I worked in the kitchen because I also have a culinary arts certification, and so I'm a cook. And one day, when I was cooking, me and my coworkers, I was what you call a kettle cook. We had these big 60-gallon kettles and 180-gallon kettle. And so after we served breakfast that morning, we were responsible for cooking the breakfast and the lunch for 1,700 guys. And after cooking breakfast and making sure everything got out to the serving line appropriately, we would eat. We would go to the side away from the kettles on the table, and we would fix ourselves something to eat in between that and making lunch, because we had to cook lunch next. And this particular supervisor, who wasn't my direct supervisor happened to be off for the day, he told me I was not supposed to be eating. I said, what are you talking about? We eat every day in between cooking the meals. He said, I didn't give you permission to eat. And so I said, okay. He said, go back to your cell. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. And and he said, give me your ID. So I gave him my ID and I went back to my cell. But what happened, when my coworker came in, he said, guess what happened when you left? He said, Stuart Ward, because the guy's name was Ward, he bagged up, 2 or 3 bags worth of food.
Okay.
And he went over to the baking section. He was in the kettle section, and he bagged up 3 things of food. Now, mind you, this guy's crazy because he's on camera. We're constantly under camera surveillance.
Right.
So he bagged up 3 or 4 big bags of food, and then wrote a misconduct on me. I'm in my cell now. He wrote a misconduct on me, saying that that he caught me stealing this stuff. I said, "Oh my God!" And when my a friend came back, co-worker came back and told me in the cell block, and so I immediately went to work, got my typewriter out, and I put together affidavits. I got 5 affidavits from witnesses who were in the kitchen at the time, who testified that I did not I did not steal anything. I walked out. I was simply eating my breakfast in between cooking breakfast and dinner. I mean, breakfast and lunch. And, excuse me. And so I got five affidavits. And when I went to the what we call the kangaroo court, where the staff would hear our tickets under a lieutenant, I asked the lieutenant. I say, I can prove I didn't do it. I said, all you got to do is look at the film from that day in the kitchen. And guess what? He would not look at the film. I said, okay, you won't look at that. I said, I got 5 affidavits here that I got from witnesses who were in the kitchen. He wouldn't look at my affidavits, and he found me guilty of stealing bags of food that I never touched. I was in the cell at the time he did that. But that's how the system is. Staff, if a staff decides they want to hurt you,
Right.
or write something bogus on you, other staff 9 times out of 10 are not going to go against them. It's just like in the free world, what they call the blue wall. How officers lie to support other prison staff does the same thing.
Right.
But I ended up being found guilty because the hearing officer, who was the lieutenant, refused to look at the camera. He refused to read my affidavits. And so he just found me guilty, and I lost my job. But I said, okay, y'all want to play dirty? I started writing grievances on this guy. I wrote state representatives.
Okay.
And before you know it, within a week, I was transferred. And they sent me to a prison that was much better than the one I was at. And so, although I got lied on and got a blemish on my record that claims I stole something that I never even touched, and that the staff member bagged up and lied on me, I ended up in a better place, and at a better prison, so to speak, and I was able to start some programs and help more fellow prisoners and involve myself in things that were really productive. And I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed those things because, everything is a matter of focus. Sometimes you can focus so hard that you can forget you're in prison.
I'm sure you did that a lot.
I made it a habit.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. I want to fast forward to, you get out, and I'm assuming your family comes and picks you up. And
that was another. The guy who Melvin.
Yes.
Melvin. Yeah, his name is Melvin Bobo, and that's my cousin. That's my cousin. Yeah, we been seeing each other for a while now. He's allowed me to visit him for a while as a guest, and I hadn't seen him in 50 years. Wow. And it was we went to elementary school and junior high school together before I left the Chicago area, and he's a really close family member, and he's a good guy. He's a mathematics teacher at.
He told me I met him that day. He said you got to meet this guy.
He's in high school. Yeah, he's a high school mathematics teacher, and he's really a good man. Good church going brother.
So you get out. They come pick you up. What's the first thing you do?
I was about to tell you a story that
okay, go ahead.
My lawyer, this lawyer named Jessica Newton, her and what you call a re-entry specialist, came to pick me up, and on the day that I was released, which was the very next day from my court date. July 17th was my court date when I had the hearing on resentencing, and my sentence was ruled to be unconstitutional. They came to the prison and picked me up and drove me all the way to I think it was Holland, Michigan, where my brother and two of my sisters met us in a park. And and it was a joyous day, man. I was on a natural high that lasted for months.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. Man, I tell you. This is your GoFundMe, is that right, Mr.
Yes. Uh-huh.
This is Mr. Montgomery's GoFundMe. As you know,
Yeah.
he spent 49 years and 4 months incarcerated for a crime he did not commit. He's entering society now at the age of 66, then turned 67, and I guess you turned 68, right?
Yeah, I just turned 68 on August 17th.
Just turned 68. Miss Hawkeye, who was in the comments, she asked for his information, gave her his information. She's trying to help him with some of the skills that he has as far as gaining employment. Is that right?
Yes, I'm very grateful to her. She's a beautiful woman, and yeah, she has been calling her friends and relatives here in Georgia, and letting them know that I'm in need of employment, and if someone can help me find employment, please do so. And I can't thank her enough.
Right, she has been singing your praise as I have as well with that attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, I'm in the Conyer, Covington area right now.
He's in here in Georgia right now with his cousin.
Yeah, outside of Atlanta. I'm here as a guest. Yeah, and because I'm originally from North Chicago, Waukegan area of Illinois. That's a suburb, a northern suburb of Chicago, in between Chicago and Wisconsin.
Right. So I wanted to put your GoFundMe up right there.
Yeah, that's something that my brother convinced me to do. I got a younger brother. He's 4 years younger than me, and he convinced me to do a GoFundMe. He said, "You never know what'll happen. You might get a positive response that could help you reestablish yourself in life." And so I went ahead and I put together a short couple of paragraphs about myself, like I talked about when I was an artist for Kids Food Basket. Kid Food Basket is a charity in Grand Rapids, and it's been around for a while. And what they do is I think they're up to like 13,000 children now. They give children between the ages of I think 5 and 12 an extra meal every day, and to add to their nutrition. And when I was at the Muskegon Correctional Facility, the warden there had an idea that she put out a call for prisoner artists. And art happened to be one of my skills too. And matter of fact, I think I sent you some pictures of some of my art that you can show if you want. She picked out of dozens of artists, she picked out 5 of us, and we would draw like 1,000 lunch bags a week. We would draw superhero characters and Looney Tune characters on the bags, and the children liked them so much that the teachers began to use it as an incentive. They say, you get first pick of the superhero bags if you do this work or that work or behave well. And from the staff at the Grand Rapids office of Kids Food Basket, when they visited us in the prison, they told us the kids were hanging the bags up in their bedroom. Right. He said that the behavior of the kids changed. They said attendance went up, fights went down, and grades went up. And when I heard that, it just touched my heart. And so, well, it touched all of us, because it was eventually 6 of us, and we would grind out drawing over 1,000 bags within 5 days every week, and the charity staff would pick them up. And as I said, they used them as an incentive for the kids, and it touched a lot of kids' lives. And I was thinking that once I get on my feet, and right now that charity is only in Michigan, and so I was thinking, well, maybe I should get me what the kids call it, a posse. Get me a posse together.
Hey, listen, you're going to have a posse. Mr. Denali is the first guy that's going to saddle up and get you. So listen,
Yeah, I saw you with your cowboy hat one night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
You
triggered
sent me
me.
those cowboy hats for my reaction, and I definitely love the family over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, but anyway,
Give me
I
one
was
second, Mr. Montgomery. I want to make
okay.
sure that people understand that this is your GoFundMe, and the name of your GoFundMe is Phoenix Rising. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
I chose that name because a phoenix is a bird that dies and rises from the ashes.
Absolutely. Phoenix Rising. Okay, so if you go to GoFundMe.com, I assume, and you put in Phoenix Rising, that will bring you to Mr. Montgomery's page. If you want to,
Right. Or I think you can just put in Ernst Montgomery on the GoFundMe website. I think that my name will bring me up too. But
okay.
I think both Phoenix Rising and my name will bring me up. I'm not sure because I got an app that I just push the button and it comes up. So I don't know what the average person has to do.
I understand. I just want to make sure that we are okay. Thank you, Miss Hawkeye. I want to make sure that we're, giving the right information. So if people do want to help you and donate whatever it is, then I want to make sure they have the right person, but it has your name right there. But Mr. DenaliXXL is going to start off by donating $250 to your GoFundMe, okay? Because
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You definitely have touched, on behalf of Mr. DenaliXXL, we are going to donate $250 to your GoFundMe to help you with the transition. Whatever is yours to do what you wish, because what happened to you definitely is a tragedy. And I'm sure there's many other people in prison that are going through some of the similar things that you're going through, and you're trying to transition now. At 67, I have trouble. I've been out all my life. I have trouble transitioning. So I want to start off with that, and whatever the audience wants to continue to do, they can do as well. But I want to give you a gift, sir, because you definitely have given me a gift, especially I talk about you with the attitude of gratitude. And there's sometimes I can change my attitude on certain things in my life. So I want to start that off with $250 from Mr. DenaliXXL and family to you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
What I also want to give you an opportunity to talk about is what exactly are you looking for as far as in the job market, your skills. Just give the people a brief summary of your resume, and let's see what happens. Let's see if the Mr. Denali family can help you out with getting gainful employment. So I'm sure that you want, so you can have a good quality of life.
Well, I would love to do something, that's administrative, so to speak, because that I have a lot of training in that as a community developer, excuse me, because that was my degree, and my Bachelor of Science degree was in community development in an area of concentration of behavior. But I know that I couldn't probably go into a hospital or something because they usually don't allow people with felonies to be employed when you have to be over the care of people. So it's something that's more administrative, something that deals with paperwork, writing, because I'm also a award-winning writer. I did a lot while I was in prison because, like I said, I just focused. And back in 1982, I ended up winning an award from the School of Journalism and School of Southern Illinois University at Carbondale. There was a National Penal Press contest, and I submitted a feature story, and out of like 200 and something entries, I came out in the top 3, because they had first, second, and honorable mention, and I got an honorable mention for a story I did. And I also wrote a book called Searching for Ma'at. Ma'at is an ancient It's an ancient spiritual concept from ancient Kemet. That's the true name of Egypt, and you spell it M-A-A-T, and it's called Ma'at, and it means truth, justice, harmony, order, and reciprocity, and balance. And since my ordeal was a search for truth, justice, harmony, and balance, I said that'd be a perfect title for my little booklet that I made, and I called it "Searching for My Eye," and I self-published my book in 1995. I self-published my book along with my wife, because me and my wife were still together at that time. So she's my ex-wife now, but at that time she was my wife, and her and I got my book self-published and a video, because I'm also a videographer, because for a short time, a prison called the Muskegon Muskegon Correctional Facility had a program called the Television Production Program. And I loved it so much, I stayed in that program 5 years, making tape after tape after tape and learning everything I could. You learned every aspect of television productions, from camera operation to lighting to set design to special effects generation, audio, editing, character generation, everything. Every aspect of video productions. I have certification in that too, and so me and my wife, or I should say, my wife and I, self-published my book, "Searching for My Eye," and my video was called "On What Road Are You Going?" And it sold pretty well. Of course, it wasn't under my name, because prisoners cannot have businesses. So basically, I was a director and manager of a business through my wife, because it was under her name, because it's against prison rules for a prisoner to have a business, even though you may be qualified to run one. And
can you check your PayPal? I mean, your GoFundMe real quick. I just sent it. I want to make sure you got it.
Okay, I'll check it right now. One second.
All right, so that's his Phoenix Rising, GoFundMe.com, and go ahead and put in Phoenix Rising. Let's see. And I don't think we can put links in the chat, can we?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, not you.
Oh.
I just want you to check your GoFundMe.
Yeah, you can look in there, because when you search the Phoenix Rising, it doesn't come up.
Okay, so I just sent the link to you. Can we put a link in the chat?
I'm gonna try to drop it.
Yeah, I don't think you can put links in the chat. I don't think you can do it. So he said you can put his name in. I have the link because he sent it to me.
I just dropped the link.
You dropped the link in the chat?
Your picture is covering it up. No, like the bottom part, not his picture, yours.
Okay. All right, how's that? Is that better?
Perfect.
Is that better? I don't see a link. Did you put a link in there?
Yes.
I don't see it.
Under your podium, I can see it right here in the brown.
Okay, all right, there's the link. So go ahead and I don't think you can you click a link out of TikTok?
Oh no,
It's not a hyperlink, is it?
yeah, they probably type it. I don't think you can.
Yeah, you can't put a link in TikTok. Big Mo, what do you have to ask that's so important to anybody else? All right. Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Did you hear it?
For some reason, I can't find my app.
Well, take your time.
Okay.
Take your time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna open it up for questions. What? No, you got to finish telling us what it is that you're looking for. That's what you need to do, so people know.
Yeah. But like I said, I got certification in horticulture, so I could do landscaping. I could do administrative work, all kind of. I can do writing. You know, if some local paper or something had a reporter job open, a staff job open. So yeah, I like I said, I'm got horticulture. Although I'm certified in welding, I haven't done welding in some years, so I would have to come up to speed with the latest equipment. When it comes to video productions, I'd have to come up to speed with the latest technology. But all of these fields are fields that I love, and so and also sales, because I when I'm not being emotional, I communicate pretty well. Huh?
I can definitely attest to that.
Oh, okay. And so if a person has a job in sales, I would do that, because matter of fact, when I was up north recently, I had a job in sales. I was making $25 an hour plus commissions. But because I didn't have a car at the time, and I still don't have a car, I had to give the job up because it required me to travel some, and so I had to resign from the job because I didn't have transportation of my own.
Right. For
Yes.
Mr. MCM, he's asking phone sales. Can you do, have you done phone?
Oh yeah, that would be easy. Yeah, matter of fact, my first job as a child, as a teenager, I think I was 15 years old or 16, and I worked for the Fraternal Order of Police Lodges when they put on Grand Ole Opry shows in town, and so they had us sell.
Wait 1 second, Mr. Montgomery. JP Strong just donated $100 to you.
Oh, thank you.
Strong has an amazing
Thank you,
story.
Mr. Strong. Can't thank you enough. I appreciate it.
That's a female. She has an amazing story.
Oh, well.
She was the victim of domestic violence by her ex-husband, who unfortunately Second Amendment her for 6 times. She survived. He did not survive. And she's an advocate for DV, domestic violence, and she just donated $100 to you, sir. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Who else can I go ahead and shout out for donating to Mr. Ernst Montgomery, as he's trying to, transition to being on the outside after being away for 49 years and 4 months for a crime he did not commit. And he's trying to transition. Also, Miss JP says she's putting your link on her Facebook. So that's another way that you can support Mr. Look at that, Miss Dr. Shea matched my 250. Oh my, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's go. Let's help Mr. Montgomery transition a good way into back into society after being away, unfortunately, for 49 years and 4 months. 50 years. I'm 50. And that's what he's going through. He's looking for gainful employment. And I'm sure, tell me if I'm wrong, Mr. Montgomery, you would like to reside here in the Atlanta area if possible?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. If I can find a job, whether it be remotely or on the, doing sales on the phone, which would be good right now because I don't have a car yet. But anything where I can have some gainful employment in this area, I'm planning on staying here because I really like the Atlanta area. It's a beautiful place.
Absolutely, a lot of upward mobility here. So yes, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for gainful employment. We also want to go ahead and hit his GoFundMe. Go ahead and drop something in there to help Mr. Montgomery transition properly. Let's show him that, listen, he went through that, but his attitude of gratitude is just so impressive. There's not an ounce of bitterness. There's not an ounce of why me. It was him. He has some, some lemons that aren't that great, but he's trying his best to make some sweet ass lemonade. And with your help, the audience, either with sharing his link to other places or even donating yourself, or if you know somebody who's looking for a salesman and things like that, go ahead and hit him up. I'm going to go ahead and I'll drop this this interview up on YouTube. I also will put the link. I'll try to put the link on the TikTok page, his email. So if you have some questions or you have somebody you think that can help him transition with a job, because you can give money, which is fantastic, but also we want to give him a job so that he can be gainfully employed and give him the dignity that he deserves to be able to create the life that he wants now that he's outside at 68 years old.
Hey, Denali.
Yes. Yes,
I
Yo-Yo.
I just matched 250. I just logged in and did it.
Whoa, Miss Yo-Yo, my great friend out of Arizona.
Thank you very
My
much.
goodness, wait, I'm so excited. I hit the wrong button. Give me a second. Whoa, 200. Listen, Mr. Montgomery, we've had many conversations. I said, I can't make any promises, but I feel the family over here at Mr.DenaliXXL, and I'm leading by example. I said 250. Let's see what is going to come from that. And already you've gotten 2 to match it. You got 100 from Miss JP Strong. She recognizes. She put your link on her Facebook account. So, man, listen, I think that you are going to be pleasantly surprised when you open up that app, and you might even cry, maybe. I don't know. I know my heart is full right now because Mr. DenaliXXL and family are showing up for you.
Hey, I can't thank you enough. I really, really appreciate it because it's going to help me get on my feet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We donate. Listen, I drink $6 cups of coffee. So to help someone who had this tragedy happen to them, and it's my pleasure. It was my pleasure to meet you. It was my pleasure to do an interview with you and continue to talk to you. And I know that the family over here at Mr. DenaliXXL, also Big T, I saw Big T, he donated a big gift. I know you don't, did you see the screen light up a little while ago? Maybe you saw it. Yeah. Now those are called TikTok gifts. And if you look up on your square where you're at right now, I think you have 6.38 thousand coins. And if I'm not mistaken, what is it? Oh man, 1,000 coins is $10, so that's about $60 or something like that. TikTok takes a little bit out of it, but if you want, I can show you how you can exchange those TikTok coins for actual dollars. Okay.
Okay.
But the easiest way is to go ahead and put it in his GoFundMe. That way, he gets all of that money, and he doesn't have to share with TikTok. So I want to thank Miss Miss Yo-Yo, Dr. Shay, JP Strong. I would love to shout out some more people as Mr. Montgomery continues to give you his resume as far as the things that he is capable of doing and what he's willing to do. I'm sure he wants to do whatever is necessary so he can have gainful employment and get a regular paycheck of more than 89 cents a day. Isn't that right, Mr. Montgomery?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's one thing they did in prison. They made sure we didn't have any economic power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. Rowe. Yes.
Big Mo has a question for him. You can drop me down and bring him up.
Listen, you don't have to go anywhere. Big Mo, I'm going to take care of Big Mo. He's in the comments.
He just asked me to tell you.
He keeps doing it in the comments. I see it, Big Mo. I answered your question. Please don't be distracting. I'm a little unfamiliar who you are anyway, and I'm not sure who you are exactly. So I'm going to get you up here in a second. Just be patient. Yes. Who is this right here? Trina. Trina, what you got, Trina? What's going on? Does she have something? I'm not sure. Let me go ahead and expand it out a little bit more so we can get 2 more people up. Let's go ahead and anybody have any questions? Mr. Rowe, do you have a question? What you want to say? Mr. Rowe's a staple over here at Mr. DenaliXXL. Very wise man, and we always look for his guidance. What you got, Mr. Rowe?
Well, I do have it's really not any questions for Mr. Montgomery because I know he's been through a lot. But after everyone else have question, Mr. Montgomery, I'm going to pretty much show you how you could probably, while waiting on work, you could possibly go into business for yourself. And right now I've been thinking about it and putting a few things together for you. And I will talk to you before it's over with. maybe I'll talk to you not on on the show, but
I'll give
maybe
you his email. I'll give you his email, and you guys can go from there.
But I have helped several individuals to get out of prison.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, I don't want to. You had a rough, worse ordeal than the others, but they had natural life in Angola, Louisiana, and with the powers that I had, I was able to get their cases brought back in the courtroom that had convicted them like 30 years, and when they brought them back in, they was on their way going home. All they needed to know was where they was gonna stay, if they was gonna stay with family. They had to stay with family because, of course, they didn't have no place of their own, and if they was gonna have a meaningful job. And so, in New Orleans, I helped them with securing a job with the Sewage and Water Board, so they had a job, and then they was able to go and stay with their parents or their sister. So it was a good road for them, and they never went back. So, but
God bless you. God bless you.
Whoa, Miss Caroline, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mr. Rowe. Miss Caroline just came through with $100. Now she sent it to me. Please, I would rather not, but if you do, I will transfer that money over to Mr. Montgomery if you feel more comfortable with the Cash App. Miss Caroline just donated $100 to you, Mr. Montgomery. Miss Caroline is down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She works for She works for the Department of Transportation, and she just donated $100 to you, which I will transfer over to you very shortly. $100. Who is next that I can go ahead and shout out? Let's go. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Mr.
God
Montgomery needs our help. And so that's what is that? That's $750. That's already $950, Mr. Montgomery, that you should be seeing once you open up your app. $950, and I'm sure that's going to help you do something. $900. It's not $1 million, but it's closer than you started today at the beginning of this interview.
So let's keep that momentum going.
Absolutely, let's do it.
I'm gonna stop talking because I know Duke Beta want to have some things to say.
Yes,
but I will put together some things for you, and you will be pleased.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much.
Big T, what you got, Big T? And then we'll go to Duke Vader.
Nah, I just want to say, hey, look, from here.
Thank you for the gift to Mr. Montgomery.
Thank you. Thank you.
Story. There was quite an ordeal you went through. God has blessed you to come out so that you can do the best that you can with your freedom now. I wish much success to you and your upcoming years, and just
thank you.
May God guide you. May God guide you.
Oh yeah. I'm always in the hands of God. I believe very deeply. I'm a very spiritual man, and I see everything that is positive in my life as a blessing from God.
Absolutely.
And the people who He worked through.
Absolutely.
Because that's what He does. He works through beautiful people, and I appreciate every one of you.
Okay, so I'm going to make this announcement because it seems like some people, I've gotten some texts, they're having some challenges with the GoFundMe. I will do this because listen, I met Mr. Montgomery, and man, he just touched me so much with his story, with, like I continue to say, I'm sure Hawkeye can attest to this as well, his attitude of gratitude without the bitterness. And I've seen a lot of people who are bitter and things like that for way less. And he just like, hey, I'm ready to put the work in at 68 years old. If you don't find the GoFundMe, if you want, you can send it to me. Put a note in there telling me that this is for Mr. Montgomery. And my promise that I will get it over to Mr. Montgomery. No questions asked. Or if you want to do that, okay? I know Miss Caroline said she has some challenge getting it. You can send it to me, and I will get it over to Mr. Montgomery, and we'll get him set up on a Cash App or Venmo. If you're comfortable doing that, I definitely would transfer it over, no questions asked, and
Thank you
no
very
fee
much.
or anything like
Thank you
that.
very much.
No, listen, it's my pleasure. This is an honor for me because you came here, you told us your story, and we're going to have you back with updates and things like that. But I want to go ahead. Okay. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Let's see what this is. Something just came in, Mr. Montgomery. Let's see. Where is it? Here it goes. Whoa! Oh my goodness! Oh, whoa! Another one. All right, Miss My Dear coming through with a $100 donation. Miss My Dear coming through.
$50.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. It does say my eyes.
I wish I could have done more.
No. You're right. It's 50, and then also Jerusha Youngblood, our angel. She sent in $100. I've got it confused. She sent us. We got 100 from Miss Caroline. We got 50 from Miss My Dear, and we got 100 from our angel, Miss Jerusha Youngblood. Man, okay. Let's see what else is going on. So we got what we got. We got 3 750s. So that's Lakeith. Whoa! Sugar Britches with another $100. Sugar Britches with $100 as well from Mr. Montgomery. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Who else can I shout out for Mr. Montgomery and help him with his transition into 2024? 74 went into prison, got out in 2023, and he's transitioning. He's looking for gainful employment, and the donation that you're giving to him now will help him in that transition. Mr. Duke Vader, what you got?
How's everybody doing this wonderful?
Everybody's doing great.
Outstanding. How you doing, Mr.
Montgomery?
Oh, I didn't realize you was talking to me. I'm doing well. I'm doing great. As a matter of fact, after all of what just happened, I am
more to come. We're not done.
I am more than thankful, and I appreciate it. It's putting me on a natural high that people care this much.
Absolutely.
Of course, everybody on the panel knows my background, Mr. Montgomery, but let me expound a little bit for you because you don't really know me. I'm a United States Army combat veteran, ex-law enforcement, and I'm also a convicted felon. I spent 15 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And by listening to
Hang on one second, Duke. I don't want to keep cutting you off, but man, listen. What we got going on here is a train, and I'm not going to stop the train. The train is going to keep on going down the track. We have from Mr. Joseph another $100 from Mr. Joseph.
Thank you.
Mr. Joseph just donated another $100 for Mr. Montgomery. Whoa! Another $100. Come on, who else can I shout out today for Mr. Montgomery? Who else can Mr. Denali and family shout out for Mr. Montgomery to help him with his transition? Okay. All right. Good. All right. So
Denali, I just want to tell everybody it doesn't matter the amount, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't want nobody to feel intimidated. It's kind of like church. We give.
Yeah. Listen, that Miss Caroline and I think somebody else said it. That's why I started saying it. But this is exciting. Am I right, Dr. Shay?
Absolutely. Yeah,
100%. Listen. These people are going to get shot out because they're opening up their heart. They heard his story and they want to help any way they can. Hawkeye is helping her way by sending his stuff out to some business people. Mr. Rowe is setting up a plan of some sort, and Mr. Rowe always comes through. Also, JP Strong, she put his link on her Facebook page. Was that Cooper who said he has 40,000 people on his business page? He's putting the link out there. So this is fantastic, and this is making Mr. Denali very, very. Absolutely, Miss Caroline. Every dollar helps. When you're talking about that you spent 50 years in prison for a crime you didn't commit, and now you're out at 68 years old, and he's doing his best to make sure that he gets the quality of life that he's going to create for himself, and he can help create it with people giving him a job. Not giving him, but he's qualified to do many things. I was talking to a gentleman about a sales job for you. I said, listen, that man communicates very well. I didn't know anything about the sales job when he was a teenager, but you heard him speak. He communicates very well. I think he would do great in sales. You know, I was in sales for a very long time, and the way he communicates is just beautiful, 100%. So to everybody, keep them coming, keep them coming,
Thank you.
keep them coming. Okay, do go ahead and finish, but I will interrupt if someone else donates. So just be prepared for that.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, like I was stated, I was incarcerated in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice System for a total of 15 years. I'm married to a lady who is still on parole right now for a 35-year sentence. I understand your plight, because I was in there with people who was innocent. And I know how the justice system is. Being law enforcement is not about guilt or innocence, it's about beyond reasonable doubt. So there are a lot of prosecutors which their job is to find people guilty regardless of the facts or the findings of any case. If you don't have a good legal system to represent you, you will go down for a crime that you did not commit. But Mr. Montgomery, welcome back to the free world, as we call it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome to the free world, bro. Hey, man, I know how it is with the transition. There's a stigma and a scarlet letter that's on our backs.
Yes.
Even though you was found innocent, your record is going to show that you was charged with a crime, that you was put in a penal institution, and that is one of the things that is never going to go away unless you get a lawyer to try to expunge some of it.
Excuse me, I want to correct something right quick because I don't want anybody to have any misinformation. The way I got out is that my sentence was ruled unconstitutional. I didn't get a new trial, and the only way you can get acquitted is with a new trial. And I think I heard you say I think I heard you say I was acquitted, but I wasn't acquitted. They ruled that my sentence was unconstitutional. Right? They wouldn't go as far as saying that I was totally innocent. They wouldn't even though there was never any real proof that I did anything wrong. They won't. So far, they never went as far as saying I was totally innocent, and so I want people to understand that I'm out because my sentence was ruled unconstitutional.
Yeah, we have the same thing here in Texas, where even though you are found, say you're found not guilty of the crime, you have to be found actual innocent in order to get your records expunged.
Right.
And in your case, since juveniles can still right now be brought up, and we have the unalivement penalty. This is why prosecutors now have to certify you as an adult to get around that case that got you free. So when they certify you as an adult, then they can go ahead on and proceed and give you life sentences for especially heinous crimes.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
That's why the young man who was did the mass pew and they tried to get his family held liable. He couldn't face it because he's mentally incapable to be certified as an adult. But I'm glad that you was able to, man. I was listening to your story, man. Let me tell you something. I caught so many out of place cases. It was a shame, and I wasn't even out of place. I understand.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can relate.
I had a captain named Captain Guilty, bro, and no matter how much evidence I brought in there, no matter how many witnesses, she stopped the tape and told me, Mr. Duke, we're gonna find you guilty no matter what it is. So you can go ahead on and finish your statement. And she started the tape back up, and that was it. So the kangaroo court is not fair. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's an absolute another world when you go in there. This is why I still wear the mask and you understand what I mean. I
Yes,
don't, I
yes.
don't, I don't have the emotions anymore. I have a mask now. And being in the military and going in prison, when I came out, I was totally different.
Whoa, we got another one, Duke. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm going to do it because this is exciting. We got another one from Layla for $50. Excuse me, Layla
Thank you.
for $50. So now we're up to, I'm going to give the total at the end, but we're climbing. Keep them coming, keep them coming. I want to shout out more people, so please keep them coming.
Thank
Finish, Duke.
you.
All right. All right, Big Mo, you got something that's very important to ask. Please, sir, I don't want to yell. I pray that this is a good one. Because you were yapping in the comments that you got something and I dropped you and all this stuff.
That was Lala, Denali. That was Lala.
No, Big Mo, he's been in the comments.
I meant the donation.
No, as I said, Lala gave the donation. I gave that. I said Lala, right? Did I
Thank
say
you,
Lala?
Lala. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lala.
Oh. Big Mo has a question that he's dying to ask, and I want to make sure that this question is good. I'm because I don't want to yell, Big Mo. You say I know you. Please, sir. Please. I hope it's a question that is really, really important for you to interrupt. Is it?
Yeah, I have something important because he did his time in Michigan. Is that correct?
That's
Yes,
correct.
sir.
Come on, let's
That's
go. Yes,
correct.
it's in Michigan.
Yeah, the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Yes, state
Okay.
charge. Let's go, Big Mo.
Denali, can I speak with him, please? Just give me a minute.
I want to know what the question is.
And you give me a minute, you're rushing on me, sir. Just let me
Because
ask,
because you've been asking it, I'm like, what's going? Okay, Big Mo, ask the question.
okay, thank you. All right, Mr. I gotta ask this question. My cousin is in prison right now in Jackson, and
In Jackson, Michigan.
right, and his story is similar to yours, and he been doing, man, they gave him life with no parole. A guy that he was with, and from Detroit, and he was caught in the accessory of the crime, and the guy ended up, taking unaliving the guy, and he went in the vehicle, and he was not aware that he unalived him.
How old was your cousin?
Man, he was I could say he was about 20.
Okay, I guess that falls under the new law about the teenage mind not developing until the age of 24, 25.
No, yeah, in Michigan they cut it off at 18. Michigan in Michigan you got to be, if I remember right, unless they've changed the law recently, in Michigan you got to be under 18 to benefit from the new law.
Okay.
Okay, he had to be under. Okay, I'm thinking he was young. I'm not for sure exactly, but
Now there are some state representatives who trying to push the age up to 20 or 21. Okay. But the science says that a human being is not, his brain is not fully developed until at least 24 years old. And so some states have it as high as 22, that if a person is 22, you cannot give them life without parole. And if you do give them life without parole, you have to have a special hearing before you implement that sentence. And that exists in Michigan now. You have to have a special hearing for young people to give them life without parole, because you have to determine the nature of their malice, the nature of their family background, the nature of their psychological states. Any mitigating factor you have to consider before you give them life without parole.
Yeah, like Mr. Montgomery, he also wrote Obama. He wrote President Donald Trump. I mean, in every way, and he's still in there. I mean, he didn't even unalive anybody. And his dad was trying to get him out as long as he could. his dad ended up, passing away. So
Well,
Sorry to hear that.
let me tell you, brother. Um, if you can, I don't know how soon it's going to be, but I promised myself when I got out that once I get on my feet, I'm going to try to start a nonprofit corporation that trains paralegals. And one of the paralegals' work experience requirements will be before they graduate. I'm going to try to set up where people can get under a nonprofit corporation a 2-year paralegal certification. And one of the tasks that they're going to have to do before they graduate is work on the cases of incarcerated people who should not be there.
yeah,
And
that's what
so,
I was thinking. That would be your calling because I mean, you got yeah,
that's something I want to do, but I have to get on my feet first. You know that old
Absolutely.
saying. You got to help yourself before you can help
Just like on
somebody
the
else.
airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first because if you're not well, then you can't help anybody else. And
Right,
that's what this
exactly.
program, this particular episode is about helping Mr. Montgomery. Whatever we can do from the audience, whether it be with money, whether it be with a job or a line on a job. This here is about Mr. Montgomery at this particular time. Big Mo, we will definitely take a look at your cousin's thing. I have no problem with that. I thank you for making us aware of it. Mr. Montgomery's aware of it, but we got to get him on his feet at 68 years old. Okay,
I got a request of employment.
Where's
Come
that?
on. I don't know if he could do like dispatch. In
Is
the
it here in
trucking
Georgia?
industry.
Is it here in Georgia?
Yeah, dispatch is
Okay.
anywhere.
All right, I'm going to drop. I'm going to drop his email on the page, and you'll be able to get in contact with him, and then you can go ahead and do all that. Okay. Anything else, Big Mo?
Hey,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Dispatch or even being a broker in the automotive. You know what I'm saying? Not the automotive, but the industry. You'll make tremendous money just being at home.
Okay, great. Awesome.
hey, Mr.
Follow Mr. Montgomery, and y'all exchange numbers or whatever, and
Yeah,
and see how that work out.
Yeah, I'm going to put his email. Email is better, Mr. Roker. We want to make sure we can filter out anything. We don't want to just blast his phone number out here because, people, it's better with the email or even
That's
let
what
him
I
on the
was talking
TikTok,
about when he
that kind of
messaged.
thing like that. Anybody want to contact Mr. Montgomery, you got his name right there. Follow him and then put him in his inbox. Mr. Montgomery, I would say do not put your number out there because you'll get all kind of things that you might not want to get. So
Okay.
let's get
Thank
it
you.
filtered either with an email or the TikTok messenger. Send the message to him and he can filter those things out. Him and his cousin, Mr. Melvin, who I met, who's a mathematical genius from what I understand, teacher and things like that. They'll be able to filter out. I don't want to give out his phone number to everybody because everybody doesn't need to have it. You can contact him through TikTok. Everybody knows how to do it. Come on, let's not get silly, okay? Let's not get silly.
Yeah, Mr. Montgomery.
Can we get some more coins though? I mean, I know we at least got $20. Can we at least get $20? Well, how many people we got in the room? You know what I'm saying? 20
And
times.
we were shadow banned a little bit of this interview. So anyway, we got enough people to make the screen. Like, listen, if you don't want to do the Cash App or you don't want to do the GoFundMe, go ahead and light the screen up like Big T did. He gave him 6,000 coins today. So go ahead and do it. Big T's a good listener and everything like that. So go ahead and light the screen up if you want. There you go, Hawkeye. Appreciate you, Hawkeye. And those coins go to directly. What's that, Mr. Montgomery?
No, I just said thank you.
Absolutely. The attitude of gratitude. So light the screen up for Mr. Montgomery if you feel more comfortable with that. Whatever you're giving is very helpful. Yes, Miss, my dear.
Can I ask Mr. Montgomery a question?
Absolutely.
Finish my time. I got cut completely off. Can I finish with mine?
Well, I get back with you, Mr. Montgomery. Thank you, Denali had me up, so I get
Okay.
back with him. Whatever donations I give him.
Great. You got his information. Duke, go ahead and land your plane, Duke, and then we'll go to Miss My Dear.
Yeah, thank you, because I got to attend to my old lady. She's looking at me crazy. Mr. Montgomery, like I said, welcome back to the world.
Thank you.
I'll be glad to give you some peanut butter and pancakes and treat you Keefy one of these days. Listen, man. Listen, this transition. I'm sorry. Somebody got an echo. I'm sorry. Somebody got an echo. This transitioning is something else, Mr. Montgomery. Only thing I can offer you is support and advice and prayers. Unfortunately, age and criminal background record is a stepping stone that's hard to get around. I'm 61 years old. Finding anybody that has the title prisoner or let's say offender is what they call us nowadays, in your record on your back, is a challenge. But there's plenty of us that do it out here. Your story is phenomenal. I'm glad you was able to get out of that situation. I sometimes go back to the prisons and try to help those who are still there, like I believe you're trying to do. But my hat's off to you, Mr. Montgomery. You remind me of the story of Joseph in the Bible. So God has a good work for you, and it was good listening to you, bro. God bless you. All right.
Yes, I appreciate your sentiments, brother. Thank you very much.
Yes, Duke. Thank you for those great words. Miss My Dear, what you got?
Mr. Montgomery, you say the court sentenced you for accessory to the crime, you and your friend Gregory, your co-defendant?
No, accessory after the fact was what I told my attorney, and that's what my attorney argued at trial, because the only thing we did was receive and conceal. Me and Greg, all we did was receive and conceal stolen property. That's the only wrong we did. We did not hurt anybody, and so our argument at trial was that we were accessories after the fact, after the incident, after the murder. After the unliving. Yeah, unliving. And that's what our argument was. But the prosecutor was a good talker, and with the lying testimony of Bags, and the false instructions of the judge, where the judge told the jury that even if they didn't unlive anybody, if they were there, they were guilty, or they are guilty, regardless of whether they hurt anybody.
Right.
And so that's what originally got me convicted. And in 1974 and in 1976, after I learned the law and appealed my case, the appellate Michigan Court of Appeals reversed my conviction. So that meant my conviction no longer stood. And I ended up, instead of giving me a new trial to where I could be acquitted or found guilty, they didn't give me a new trial. They just took me back to the county jail, to Genesee County, and they resentenced me to 100 and 150 years. So what that means is I did 49 years and 4 months for never having a trial. I never got convicted of anything because the first conviction was the conviction was overturned. They just took me back and resentenced me under a second-degree murder charge. So that means I did all of that time and I wasn't even convicted. I was simply resentenced.
Well,
under a new charge, which was second-degree murder, and all over this country, in order to get found guilty of second-degree murder, they have to prove that you unalive somebody with malice. And so they never proved anything against me because they never gave me another trial. They just resentenced me, and I ended up doing 49 years and 4 months and was not ever convicted of anything.
Is Greg still locked up, Mr. Montgomery?
Yeah, Bags, he's still locked up because he was so, I don't like talking bad about people, but
Well, he wasn't the best guy.
yeah, he wasn't the best guy, and he was so unintelligent and naive that he allowed them to convince him. Allowed them to convince him that it was in his interest to testify against us, and he would not get life. He would get 75 to 125, and so he was dumb enough to accept a plea agreement for 75 years as a minimum. And then on top of that, he was only in prison for 6.5, 7 years. And I don't know what happened because they would never put him in the same prison as me and Greg because he was afraid that we might seek vengeance or retaliate because he lied on us. And so if he was afraid that if we ended up in the same prison, we might do something to him. But I had no idea of doing anything to him because if I ever was able to talk to him, I wouldn't have hurt him. I would have tried to convince him to tell the truth.
Right.
That's what
Now,
I
what
would
about
do.
Greg? What about your
I want to hang on one
co-defendant?
second, Dr. Shea. 1 second, just real quick. They're asking in the chat.
I'm sorry.
Just give me 1 second. They're asking in the chat how else they can donate. You can try to do the GoFundMe. If you're not with that, you can go ahead and cash at me, Mr.DenaliXXL. Right now we have $500 in cash apps that I'm going to transfer to Mr. Montgomery. So if you want to donate, you don't want to gift, because I know Ms. Sill asked, she wants to make sure he gets all the money. You can go ahead and cash at me. Put in a note that this is for Mr. Montgomery, and I'm going to transfer that to Mr. Montgomery. We're going to get him set up with a cash app or whatever, him and his cousin, or however they want to do it.
Yeah, I have a cash app. I have a cash app.
You have a cash app?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I didn't know you had a cash app. Send me, if you could text me your cash app, and I'll put it up on the screen. I didn't know you had a cash app.
1 second.
Yeah, take your time.
That was my next question. Yo already asked my next question about what happened to Biggie or Baggy.
Bags.
Well, Bags, I wasn't through with that. Bags, he was crazy enough. I don't know why, but he was at an institution called Huron Valley Men's Facility back in like 1980, 81. And he took a knife and he stabbed a corrections officer in the neck and almost killed him. And he ended up getting another a conviction. And that second conviction, they gave him like 30 to 60 years. And if you commit a crime in prison, while you're in prison, you have to do that sentence consecutively. And so that means that he has to finish the 75 years and then start the 30 years to 60 years. And so it's almost a guarantee that he's going to die in prison. But
What
he
about
did.
your co-defendant? Is he still
Greg, he got out. Greg, he got out like 5 years before I did, because he wasn't his activities in prison. See, I'm what you call the prison establishment calls a jailhouse lawyer. Or a litigator. And so when I was working in these law libraries, I was helping everybody I could because I hated prison so much, and I knew everybody I know hated prison unless they were mentally ill. and so many unfair cases exist in prison. I mean, you would not believe it. It's so many unfair cases, and so I was doing all I can to help guys, and I did. Like I said, I got about 20 guys out over the years, and so they labeled me as what they call a litigator. And so one administration at one prison would tell another prison, look out for this guy. He files lawsuits, he files stuff for other guys. And so watch him, and because I guess you could say he's a defender of the people and we don't like him because he tries to educate the population. Matter of fact, they even transferred me from certain prisons for trying to help people. The administration, they do not care on average, I can't say everyone, but on average, they do not care about prisoners. The prisoners are nothing but a paycheck to them. And they don't like prisoners who rock the boat. And as a paralegal, as a so-called jailhouse lawyer, I rock the boat. And so my co-defendant, Greg, he ended up doing, I think it was like 41 years, 42 years, and they gave him a parole. Because he wasn't somebody who rocked the boat. I was somebody who rocked the boat. So they punished me by making me stay longer. And if I hadn't won my case in court, they would have tried to make me die in prison. I know that for a fact because my record was so good. That the prosecutor, Genesee County prosecutor, told my lawyer that man deserves to be free. Now, this is a prosecutor who usually locks people up. Told my lawyer that this man deserves to be free.
Right.
Because of my record, how good it was.
All right, Mr. Montgomery.
I keep getting interrupted. Please, please let me finish. Please.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I ask you, what nationality was murdered?
Unalive.
He was African American.
Okay, all right, that answers my question. Anyway, the next thing is you have an amazing story, and I think it was Duke that came on and said the same thing I was going to announce it to Joseph in the Bible. Your story is a duplicate of that, but now also I want to ask you, I don't know if you want to go back in and work in the system. You want to stay away out of the prison?
I don't trust the Michigan establishment, and so I told myself I'm never going to set foot in Michigan again because I don't want to get caught up in that system again on somebody's lie or some official or officer who don't like what I stand for. And so what I decided I'm going to do, like I said, once I get on my feet, is 2 nonprofit organizations I want to become a part of or be critical in establishing. I want to contact the administration of the charity of Kid Food Basket and try to establish other branches of that to help more children. And I also want to establish a nonprofit corporation. I already got a name for it. I'm going to call it Communities United to Initiate Transformations. The acronym for that would be CUT IT. Cut out the unfairness, cut it. And so that's something I thought of, and as I said, what its main goal will be is to train paralegals, to create an army of paralegals to help prisoners all over this country who shouldn't be in prison.
Well, I wanted to make 2 suggestions, and then I'm going to land my plane. One is I'm going to confirm this or figure this out. There's a movie producer, Mark, and I know his last name. He stays in my son's house in Cincinnati, and he just finished about 8 months ago. He finished a documentary on Shuttlesworth, who was with Martin Luther King. And now
Oh.
he's working on a thing now called I gotta try to remember this. I just um, about a fire. Too late to fire. Put out the fire. Somebody putting out the fire. He's working on that now. He's almost finished with that. But he does stay home. He when he goes to Cincinnati to do research on certain things, he does stay in my son's home. I'm gonna talk with my son. I don't know how I can hook this up, but some kind of way he needs that documentary producer needs to know this story. And the other thing is what you already know about. You can get federal funding, and you could go to the prison. The people. I'm excited because I this is really amazing story. Absolutely amazing. But you can go to the people you said gave you references in the prison, right?
Yeah.
Several people that are actually employed in the prison, and also Grace Stacey Abrams. Didn't she? Don't you know her or something with the video a week or so ago?
No,
Well,
I don't.
I just saw Stacey Abrams at Springfield Baptist Church here in Covington, and I saw her give a speech, and I made sure I went when I heard she was going, because she is such a beautiful person and such a dynamic, intelligent speaker. Every time I know she's going to speak, I try to, brother, let me finish my thought. And so, yeah, I did see her recently. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, you can go to the people in prison, even if they don't work there now, as long as they were employed there at the time. And better if you know someone there now, because you just got out a year ago, so they might still be there. Get references from them. I know, well, I can't speak for Demaldi, but I know his heart. If it's something he could, he getting kind of popular. He got a little juice. Anyway, the other thing.
Thank you, Miss My Dear. I appreciate that.
Well,
I appreciate the juice. Hopefully, it's some nice orange juice. Okay,
that's nice. That's nice.
Thank you,
Mr. Montgomery. Then the last thing is, well, what else? See, I got distracted.
Well, take your time.
Right. Thank you. The letter of references, and you worked in different departments that were so helpful. Go to them too. The library, your cook, get all that paperwork together. You know how to do that, because I can tell from just listening. I've been on ever since you've been on. Well, I might have missed the first 10 minutes, and so you know how to do all this. Now you can get federal funding with those references. If you know any politicians or Hawkeye, Miss Hawkeye. Sounds like she's got a lot of connections.
Sure, she does.
Go to anybody. I don't care if it end up being 100 pages worth of references. And then what you do, because you want to get a job first, though, because it takes time to get federal funding.
Right, exactly.
But then you get a job, and then in the meantime, you be working on this to try to be. Yeah, that's why I asked you to want to go into the prisons. You'd have to want to go back, and you could be a motivator in the prisons to motivate these guys that's in the prison.
Well, that's one of the things. One of the things I plan to do, but I'm going to do it through a nonprofit corporation.
Well, you can get your own nonprofit. You can apply for it.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create it.
Miss My Dear, we got to get him on his feet. You know how you on the airplane and the stewardess tells you, or the flight attendant now tells you to put on your mask first, and then you can help. So that's what we're trying to do with Mr. Montgomery.
I understand that. He needs to get a job now.
Well, I got an idea for him to get on his
Hang on 1 second, Miss Sylvia. 1 second. I want to go to Candy Girl. She's been waiting patiently.
Okay, well,
also, Mr. Montgomery, text me your do it right now. Text me your Cash App so I can send you. So far, we got $500 from Mr. Montgomery, and he got another $750 in GoFundMe for myself. I started off, and Dr. Shay and Miss Yo-Yo. Okay, so that's a total of $1,250 so far. and I'm sure it will continue to come. Okay.
JP Strong. JP Strong.
Oh, JP Strong. Well, JP Strong. Oh, that's right. JP Strong sent, and Miss Carolyn is a part of the 500. JP Strong sent 100 as well. Don't forget about Miss JP Strong. She's got an amazing story as well.
Thank you.
Send it to me right now so I can send you your money. I don't like to hold other people's money. So
Okay, I'm gonna send it right now. Yeah.
thank you. And Miss Candy Girl, how you doing? Thank you for Miss Candy Girl. Is that Candy Girl? Thank you for
Hi.
Miss Candy Girl. Is
Yep.
that Candy Girl?
Yep. Candy.
What state are you? What state
Okay,
are you in, Miss?
I'm doing good.
What state are you? What state are you in, Miss?
I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay, go ahead.
I was actually born in Waukegan.
Okay, go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, I was born in
But
Waukegan.
I was born in 78. What's that?
No, continue, Miss Candy Girl.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that your story really is an inspiration. If you haven't already, I would really suggest that you write your story in the meantime, while you're getting on your feet. And if you have to, even elaborate on it. This is already an awesome story, but whatever you had to do, just it's an awesome story. Just write your story, sell your story. You're a good storyteller. You said you're a really good writer. Just write your story down. It would sell.
Thank you very much.
Definitely.
As a matter of fact, I've been working on an outline for a book. Hello?
No, you got it. You go ahead. I had to mute it because you had a little bit of echo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I'm following your suggestion as you speak, because I've already started a outline for my book. Thinking about how many chapters and where I'm going to start the story, and I plan to do it in fine detail and hopefully do it in such a way that it will be a gripping book, and people will buy it because it's going to be 100% true, and I'm not going to leave out a detail that's relevant that people might want to know. And if I can, I'm going to have it out within the next 6 months.
All right. Anything else, Miss Candy Girl?
Nope. Just I followed you, so just definitely let me know where to buy it from. We'll buy
Absolutely.
it.
Yes,
We're going to go to the red carpet event.
I will be in touch with Mr. Denali from here on out. And so if you can't contact me personally, he can tell you where to contact me.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Miss
Drop
Candy
me
Girl.
down, Mr. Denali, so someone else can come up and ask.
Okay, you want to go down? Okay, great.
Okay, take care. Thank you. Bye.
You already gave out my. Okay.
I just want to make room on the panel.
I appreciate you so much, Miss My Dear. Give me one second. Okay. All right, here we go. Get Miss Montgomery. Miss Montgomery. Miss My Dear, let's get her down. Okay. All right, Miss Sylvia had some suggestion for you. Miss Sylvia's a good person. She's an excellent person. I might cut her off a little bit depending on how far she goes. So I'm gonna give her an opportunity. Just know if I do it, I'm not being disrespectful. We have to geofence sometimes, Miss Sylvia, because she can go on.
Yeah.
Denali.
Well, ask me anything you want to ask me.
Denali.
No, I don't want to ask you anything. I'm just happy that you're home. I have a nephew who will be coming home himself in a couple of days. Here.
Oh, congratulations.
Fantastic.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, congratulations. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm happy you're home and to get a chance to and still be there. I saw you on the original video, so you still like you.
Sylvia.
Full of life. So what I was going to say, I don't know what your physical strength feels like and what you feel like doing as far as work is concerned at your age. But none of if you live in the Georgia area, is that correct?
Yeah,
Well,
he's in Georgia.
I'm a
Right
guest.
now, he's in Georgia. Hang on a second, Mr. Montgomery. Let me take care of this real quick for you.
Okay.
He's in Georgia. Okay, let's go. What else, Miss Sylvia?
Look, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. So
I know. I'm
there are
trying to move it along.
There are a lot of car manufacturer plants. I think you have Toyota there. I believe I'd have to look up and see if Chrysler, some of those people are there, but they wouldn't hesitate to hire you.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
You make good money, good benefits, and it's simple work. You could do it. The reason I ask about, because I mean, you're in your almost 60s.
He's 68 years old.
Oh, 68.
But if I could make one statement, I'm blessed by God. I'm 68. I'm 68. Well, I exercise a lot. As I said, I practice yoga. I lift weights, and I feel 38 instead of 68.
Got it.
And I don't take any medications whatsoever. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't drop anything. And so I'm in very good health, and I still lift weights. Like I said, I can still get under 225 on a bench press and rep.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty strong to be my age.
Well, this is what I want to tell you. So the American manufacturers, they're unionized. So you find where their UAW hall is, and you go directly to UAW and let them know you just released out of the institution.
Okay. Miss Sylvia, I don't think he's gonna. I don't want him to go work. Not that there's nothing wrong with that.
Let me explain to him what the benefits he gets. You get free college. Okay. You get free medical benefits. Most of them only work 4 10-hour days, off 3 days. You get off a lot of time off work because they're always on a shutdown. So you get a lot of vacation time. So you work less hours than most people work on a regular job.
Okay, great.
And you can take off work anytime you want to. You don't have to have vacation days to be able to take off work. So I'm just telling you, this is a company where no one would look down upon you, and you would be able to excel quickly.
Okay.
Well, I'm considering all options.
Yeah,
and I appreciate.
And also, the last thing, a lawyer would hire you if you're good at doing legal. Paralegal, they don't care about the fact that you have been in prison.
Right.
The fact that you know how to do research is why they would give you a job. So don't count that out. Put your suit on.
Miss Sylvia, Miss Sylvia.
I mean, everybody else talks. So, sir, anyway, I'm going to send you an inbox message because everybody else gets to talk to you, but every time
because you're going on. The man is 68 years old. He's not, listen, not that that's not honorable work, but he's not, maybe he will. I'm trying to get him something where he doesn't have to break his back. Working on the line is back-breaking work.
It is not back-breaking work.
Yeah, but he
Mr.
don't have 40
Mr. Rose working on the plan for him. I got maybe a possible sales job for him.
Jobs at the car plant. Some of them, all you do is drive trucks all day or drive the car all day. So
leave them alone.
Hold on. Let me say something. First of all, Mr. Montgomery, I know you've been out a year now, about a year, right?
14 months.
14 months. And I know you probably had a lot of negativities that's been coming your way because I've been through that in helping other folks. So, Mr. Montgomery do not need any false promises in his life right now, Sylvia, unless you know somebody is definitely.
Promise. I know for a fact that
you don't know if them people have a job.
They have felons. I work there. They have felons.
Anybody can hire, but you don't even know how old the man was.
It don't matter about age. It don't matter about
8 years old. He do not need to be working hard. What I was trying to figure out for you, Mr. Montgomery, and I need to ask you a couple of questions. And it's not bad.
Go ahead. That's good.
Are you driving?
No, I have my permit, but I haven't had a chance to get my actual license yet. That's because I don't have a car to practice with.
I understand that.
But I will eventually get enough practice in where I go take the driver's test.
Okay. And that's what I was trying to figure out. If you had transportation to be able to get around. Because I know you have on this panel, everyone that I see up here, they are bosses. So what I was thinking about for you, you need to be a boss at this point in your life, because trying to go to someone wondering if they're going to give you a little penny ante job, you need to be working for yourself. And with the cash, wait, what was it? The GoFundMe account.
Yes.
You should get some funds to be able to put on the side now. Now, what I'm thinking about for you, and we can talk later, but I'm gonna do it there. Horticulture. You say you have a love for that, right?
Yeah. Yes. I have training in horticulture. I used to be a horticulture tutor.
Exactly. So I'm thinking about you running your own business, doing that, and all you need to do is get a few items from the Home Depot or somewhere that you need to do your trade. And I know you've been in for a long time, but if you didn't know it, at the Home Depot, you probably can pick up some one or two other people that can do that work. You don't have to do the work, getting on your knees, doing no back breaking work. You pick you up a few folks outside of the Home Depot and you put them to work. Something like that sounds good to you?
Yes, it does. As a matter of fact, that was something I was considering because of my experience in horticulture, plus being a horticulture tutor myself, and it's something that I love doing. So that is definitely a possibility.
Hey, Denali, can I say something?
And that's what I'm almost finished, Lolo. And that's what I was thinking about for you. Make sure you follow me. I've already followed you. And we can talk about it a little more. Certain things I didn't want to say on the air, but I wanted to put a feel out there to let you know this is what I was thinking about for you. Okay?
Fantastic. I will give you his email address, and you guys can go from there. Okay, Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Shout out to Mr. Rowe. That's what I was saying.
1 second. Your thing is E-Monty. Is that right, Mr.?
Yes, it's $1. Oh, you mean on Instagram?
No. On Cash App.
On Cash App is $ Ernst Montgomery.
No, I know. I'm trying because what came up was E.Monty Enterprises. Is that you?
Oh yeah, that's just the title, but the actual Cash App.
I know, but it comes up, so I wanted to make sure. I sent you $1. Make sure you got that $1, and then I'll send the other $499.
1 second, I'll check right now.
Great. And Miss Yo-Yo, what did you want to say?
I just wanted to add on to what Mr. Rowe was saying.
Okay.
I am so inspired by your story.
Yes.
I am willing to do anything to help.
Wow.
My expertise, I am familiar with setting up any kind of entity that you need, whether it's an LLC, corporation. I can help you with a nonprofit. So when you are ready to start a business, I'll definitely set everything up for you, no cost to you, of course, and I'll be willing to help in that area. So when you are ready to start a business,
Thank you very much.
Look at the love over here, Mr. Denali.
Make sure you.
Yeah, I've been doing that for 20 years. I help people with purchasing aircraft, but I can do it for anybody. So.
I don't know if my email is still posted, but please get it from.
I will send it to Miss Yo-Yo as well. Okay.
Yeah, and email me as soon as possible, and I would really appreciate it.
And I know how to do any kind of company. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Did you receive that $1, Mr. Montgomery?
I'm looking for it now. One second.
Take your time, and let's go to user 1582.
Yes, I got it. I got the
Okay,
$1.
so I'm going to send the other $4.99, and while we're on live, I'm going to put your Cash App up on the screen, so I don't have to be involved with somebody else's money.
Okay.
User 1582. How you doing?
Thank you very much.
I'm doing okay.
You're
I'm doing okay. I also been to prison, you know, and
Okay.
I don't have anything to give you. I can't give you no knowledge because I'm used to getting knowledge from people like you, you know. And you remind me of some of these people, right? Because when you
Thank
said
you.
lift weights and you a law person and everything. Well, I had a friend. I had a friend in prison when I first went. And the guy told me, he says, I didn't know how to read. So he would tell me, he didn't know didn't know how to read, but he told me, go get a book, go get a book. So, you know, he used to always tell me that, right? We would lift weights together. He would wear me out. He was a lifer. He would wear me out
Yeah,
on weights, you know?
yeah.
And go get a book, youngster, go get a book. So I finally went and started getting books, right? But I would get books like Harold Robinson, if you know what I'm talking about, and
Yep.
you know, different books like that, right? And I go show him, I got a book. He said, man, that's garbage. You know, he said, you
Yep.
don't need to be reading that garbage. So he gave me a book about black people that could have been kings if possible. And it had all the great different leaders in it and stuff, right? And then
Yeah. Excuse me.
he would tell me stuff like, go to the law library, you know. He would always
Yes,
encourage,
exactly.
yeah, he would always encourage me, you
Yeah,
know.
that's good.
You know, yeah, he did that. And you know, but I had a cousin that was under the same, he got life for receiving stolen property. And he ended up doing like 20.
He got cut off, Mr.
Yeah, I don't know what
Denali.
happened. I think
I
he
don't
might
know.
be.
On
Are
mute.
you
He actually have a press mute.
are you traveling, sir?
Denali, you could drop me down so someone else could come up.
Okay.
Yo-yo.
All right.
Thank
So
you
I was
again,
talking to y'all.
Miss Yo-Yo.
Okay, it's a pleasure to meet
I'm
you, and
sorry,
I'll
was I talking
definitely
to y'all?
reach out to you to assist with any kind of entities or anything you need.
Yep, thank you. I look forward to your contact.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay.
Yo-Yo,
Thank you,
please don't leave.
Hi,
Oh.
Yo-Yo. Who said don't leave?
Okay.
Please
James said
leave.
don't leave. James says
I
don't
don't
leave.
know how to drop down,
Okay, I
bro.
won't leave.
Are you okay, Mr. User? Are you finished, or you want to give me 1 second, Mr. User? Do you have something more to say?
I did, but you know, he just
You got.
attacked
Hang
me.
on 1 second. You got yourself muted. That's why we didn't hear you.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought y'all muted me, but I
No,
was
we
so
did not
excited.
mute you. Something happened with your connection, sir.
Yes,
So you
but I
can't
was so
continue.
okay. I was so excited
All right.
by talking to you and you being free, because a lot of people don't make it out of there.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
like that. You know, they help everybody else, and they help to build the prison system up, and you know, to make sure those doctors do what they can do and do what they're supposed to do in them guards, and they never get no credibility for that. You know, because we know as inmates, we know. But the world don't know about what y'all do inside of there, you know, and how y'all try to encourage young people and stuff.
Right.
You know,
You're
I just want to
absolutely
say,
right.
I just want to say I appreciate you, bro.
Thank
And
you very much.
I appreciate this panel too, because y'all, I don't know if y'all understand what y'all doing right now. As just not even just as black people, but as black people.
Understand what y'all doing right now.
But
As just,
I'm
not even
gonna
just
let
as
it go because
black
I'm getting
people.
excited. I'm getting too excited, emotional.
No,
All
I
right,
mean you're fine. It's up to you. You
drop
want
me
to stay? Or
down.
you want to leave?
I want to leave.
Okay. All right, user. Appreciate you. Go ahead and follow Mr. Montgomery. Go ahead and follow
I
myself. Put the
did.
notification. Put the
I did.
notification bell
Thank
on.
you, user. Thank you,
Thank
user.
you so much for your kind words and your inspiration and being inspired, receiving the message from Mr. Montgomery, because he's got an amazing one. All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
God bless all of you.
Miss Kim, what would you like to say?
Hi,
Wait,
everybody.
hang on a second. Before you go, Mr. Montgomery, that's your Cash App on the screen. Do you see it?
Yes, that's it. And I did receive what you sent.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah, I
listen?
did
For
receive.
everybody who's listening, can you tell them how much I sent you?
You sent me $486.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
$499. No, I didn't say $486. Hang on a second. No, I sent you $499 plus the dollar.
It's probably TikTok's fees.
Yeah, it might
No,
be.
I said that from
I
Cash
mean,
App.
I
Cash App
mean,
fees.
Cash App.
fees.
Cash App only is showing $486.
They take
Okay,
their
that's
own
if you go
fees too.
I don't know what happened.
instant. If you go instant, they will take a fee, or you can go 2-3 days and then there's no fee. So I said $500. There you go. Okay. That's what I
Okay,
did.
so they took $14 because it came instant.
Right. Now you can avoid the instant by 2-3 days, but that's up to you what you want to do. But I sent the money. So for people in the comment talking bullshit, I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it at all because I didn't see you. I didn't see you donate anything. People yapping all the time. Gets on my goddamn nerves.
And you know what, Mr. Denali, even GoFundMe, they slick. They automatically put a tip on there, and you have to change it.
I saw that. I saw that.
GoFundMe does it too. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay.
No, it's fine. I just want to make sure that number one, you get your money for people who have any kind of problems with what Mr. Denali's doing. Okay, I
know you're an honorable man. I
don't take people's money. I don't like to mess with people's money. I like to mess with my own money. Anyway,
hey, I know you're an honorable man, brother. I would trust you with my life.
That means a lot coming from you. I tell you, when I met that man, he made my heart feel very warm. And I was like, man, what can I do to help this young man? And you, Mr. Denali, and family are doing it. And like I always say, we lead by example. And man, the money started flowing in. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Mr. Rose got a plan for you. I'm going to go to Miss Kim, and then I'm going to go to Mr. James. Miss Kim?
Hi, panel, and hi, Mr. Montgomery.
Hello. Nice meeting you.
You too. I saw part of the interview, and I got on here late, so I'm not sure everything that was discussed. But my son's father has been in prison for 27 years, so I'm very
sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Very empathetic with your story. I thought I heard you. Did you say that you studied a lot of law while you were locked up?
Yes, I'm a paralegal. Yes.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that I thought about was that program that helps with getting innocent people out of prison.
You're talking about the Innocence Project.
Exactly. And I just thought,
I'm familiar with them. I even know a couple of the lawyers.
Yeah, maybe they would have a position for you.
Well, I've thought about trying to get a paralegal job under attorney, but I want to see what all my options are before I make my final decision.
Absolutely. So appreciate that, Miss Kimberly. But Mr. Rowe, listen, keep them coming. Miss Yo-Yo's got some things he wants to talk to. Mr. Rowe's got some things that he's putting together for him, and he's going to look at all his options, and he'll talk with his family and his daughter or whoever else. If he wants my advice, I can give it to him as well, and to make sure that we get him back on his feet. And that's the plan. That's the plan. He's got. We raised today $1,250 in the 2 hours that we've been on. I want to thank the family for doing that for Mr. Montgomery, because you know how things cost. Things cost money, man. It costs money to live. And we want to give him a little piece, some kind of starter kit, and anything else that comes with it. People are putting his information up on their Facebook pages and, coming up with plans and jobs and all kinds of different things. And I think he's open to all of that. And he's going to take a look at it and see what works for him. You know what I mean? So that's what we got. All right.
Well, welcome home. Welcome home.
Thank you.
And I hope you find something soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
He will.
Much.
God
bless you.
I know the power of this audience. Okay. I know. My son came on here. The people were very supportive of him when he graduated from high school. So I understand the power of what I'm doing. I didn't at first understand it. I didn't. I tell you that. And but man, I tell you the way that we have performed today for Mr. Montgomery, the way that we have performed when my son came on the show, it just really warms my heart, and it helps me to get up every morning and say, wow, let's go ahead and see how else we can help change lives, as we're doing for my angel, Miss Jerusha Youngblood, trying to find her that needle in the haystack. So I understand, and I'm very appreciative and very humbled, and I am getting more of the attitude of gratitude that Mr. Montgomery had. He taught me something. He's been in prison. I went out here and he taught me something. So I definitely love this man right now. I have a lot of love for him. So that's what we're doing. Okay.
Thank you
Mr.
very much.
James.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Denali,
Yes.
we all have to thank you. I know you don't want anything,
No.
no rewards, but you went out. You go out, Mr. Denali, on site, and you found Mr. Montgomery, and we all thank you for what you're doing.
That's right. Like Miss Martinez said, you got the juice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But as I always say, it's about the people that come here and bring their voices that help make this program go. And I'm humbly appreciative that you guys have chosen Mr. Denali XXL to come and lend your voice. And, it's a special thing. It really is. And it makes me very, very emotional when I think about that. So, Mr. James, what you got?
Yes, sir. First of all, I want to thank you. I tilt my hat, Mr. Monk, Mr. Strong, I don't know what Yo-Yo.
JP Strong is a beautiful woman. JP Strong.
Cashier Rose, my man. Nana and Hawkeye. I just got off a board. I got an invite from you. I was already on a board, and to say it went to shit is an understatement. Everybody was yelling, "You're my go-to board," and at least you got control of the board. That guy lost control, and I had to get the hell out of there. So I do appreciate coming over here, and everybody, you got it. I mean, everybody's in line, and it's a peaceful board. Everybody can debate, but it's not just wide open crazy crap. I really don't know what the topic was before I got here.
Okay.
So
did you want to say something to
let the next person talk, and I'll get in.
James, did you want to say something, Miss Yo-Yo? Because you asked her not to leave.
Oh, that's because she's really pretty. I was just like,
okay. Well, listen, I second that. I second that.
That was eye candy.
Okay, fantastic. Miss JP Strong, how you doing? Good to see you again. How are you? Thank you so much for the donation.
Before you go to JP, can we say that James looked like the guy from A Time to Kill? What's his name? Is that
Matthew McConaughey?
Yes, that's what
James looks like. Matthew McConaughey.
James, aren't you 6'6" or something? James.
I think he left.
Hang on. No, I didn't leave.
Are you 6'6"?
Get that thing off mute. My phone doesn't want to agree with me.
Are you 6'6"?
Yes, I'm 6'6".
Yeah, he's 6'6". He looks like Matthew McConaughey. He's got no problem in the ladies' department, as well as Mr. Montgomery doesn't have any problems either. You saw he got married in prison. Some men are outside; they can't even get married. This man got married in prison. Ay.
He kind of
that's a good
like
thing.
it too, Denali.
Hey, Denali, can you bring Fred back up? Fred was up and then he got knocked down and was wanting to say something.
Okay, I'll bring her back up. Miss JP.
You can drop me down if you need to.
Okay, I'll get you down and then bring up Fred. Miss JP, thank you so much for the donation to Mr. Montgomery. What did you want to say, dear?
Well, first of all, Mr. Montgomery, I was so moved by your story. And
thank you.
Props to you, and I'm excited about your future. But if I'm going to ask Mr. Denali to text me your email address, because we have a very, very close family friend that's a prominent copyright and intellectual property attorney here in Atlanta. And he's also an Army JAG. And always looking for paralegals. And I think that could be a really good opportunity for you. So if Denali will send me your, I will email my friend. I'll copy you on it, and hopefully an opportunity can work out for you. Do you have your own transportation, sir?
Not yet, but I do have family members like Melvin Bobo who's willing to get me to a location if I need to. Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for your offer, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, this office is downtown Atlanta, but there may also be like teleworking opportunities.
Well, if I have to, I will relocate to the inner city of Atlanta if I could find some place.
Well, I think we're gonna. I think I feel it. I do feel that you're gonna be. You will receive some transportation. So I feel it, Mr. Montgomery. I feel it.
Okay,
So we're gonna
thank
get you
you.
that license, and you're gonna have some transportation, so you can continue to be more free as you transition out from the penitentiary. So I feel
Well,
that. I feel
thank
that's
you.
coming.
Thank you. God bless you.
The audience is very generous and they're sharing it, and your story is just very moving. So I think that I believe that good things are going to start to happen for you. I mean, the first thing happened that you got out, boom, and you will be you were reunited with your family and your daughter and all those people, Mr. Melvin. But I do feel like something. The dam is about to break, and you're going to have many opportunities, and you're going to, to have options is always a great thing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. So I believe, sir, with the help of God and the strength you have and the power of the audience, that you will have some options, and you're going to be like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Give me a moment to sleep on it. You know what I mean? And you're going to wake up, and hopefully you get clarity to know what direction you want to go into, so you can achieve your desired outcomes for your life. Because your life, a lot of your life was taken away from you. And hopefully now you can tell your life where you want it to go. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. God bless you. And everyone else.
Mr. JP, Ms. JP, is anything else you want to say? That's an awesome offer.
If you'll, Denali, if you'll send me his email.
Absolutely.
Just from everything that you said, I really feel like the law and helping people.
You're a little muffled, Ms. JP. You're a little muffled.
Sorry. I just feel like from everything that you said, the law and helping people as a paralegal just seems like a really good fit for you.
Yes, you're right.
But it was a pleasure to meet you, sir. I'm going to drop down.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, and God bless you.
Mr. Montgomery, JP has an amazing story as well. She is a domestic violence survivor. She was pew-pewed or Second Amendment, I think it was 6 times by her husband. And she's in a wheelchair now, but man, she has a very powerful story. She's spoken in front of Congress, and she does different things in that arena to help people that are victims of domestic violence get their lives back together. So we want to salute her.
Can I ask a question of the board?
What's that?
Mr.Denali, can I ask a question of the board?
What is it? Go ahead.
Well, I got lit up by some MAGA people, and if I'm incorrect on this, it's all right. The fentanyl problem did not get addressed until some YT people, if you remember the news, when these upscale people, that's when it got discovered, while people of color, it was not being covered. And that was my opinion. They tore me a new rear end.
I know, but why are we talking about that, James?
Just the fentanyl problem.
I know, but why are we talking about that? This is the time for Mr. Montgomery. We're trying to get him situated so that he can get his desired outcomes in life. Why are we talking about fentanyl?
Hey, I was just asking something, so let him go. I was just asking.
Absolutely. This is his. Listen, I did the interview to put the spotlight on Mr. Montgomery because he touched me. Okay. So that's what we're doing.
Is that on your page? Can I go view that on your page?
Which part?
Well, I'm talking about, can I go to your page? Do you have a copy of the interview that you did that I can view?
Right now?
I was just, whenever.
No, the interview's still going on. It hasn't stopped yet.
Ah, okay.
So once the initials interviews are on the page, but this interview here will be up on YouTube tomorrow.
Okay, my bad, man.
So you'll be able to, no, it's not your bad. You're fine. You know you're a good friend, but I was just wondering if it was tying back to Mr. Montgomery, because I think this is his time to shine.
Okay.
He's been inside penitentiary for 49 years and 4 months. This is his time to get some publicity.
Got legal paralegal. I can know that is about the utmost thing you could do, because I get tired of people of color getting exonerated and coming out after some people help somebody. So I commend him. So
absolutely.
So anyway, Mr. Monk, I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. No. I'm gonna keep you straight, Mr. James. Believe
All right.
me. You know, I have no problem letting you know what's going on.
That's cool.
I'm a very assertive guy, and I'm not shy.
Man.
So here we go.
Can you tell your mods to block that junior guy? Because we're not roaches. I don't understand what.
Who is that?
Junior Collins.
Who is that?
You're right, Jerusha. He needs to go somewhere.
What's his problem? Well, Jerusha, go ahead and do what you need to do there. You know, they know what to do. I can't see. I don't know what that means. Who is this guy, Junior? You know, it's always so much hate. I don't understand it. We're doing such good work over here, and then someone's got to come over with foolishness. Like, this is such a great time. This man spent 49 years and 4 months, and he got some money, and people are trying to make plans for him and everything else like that. It's just, I don't understand people. I just don't.
When your first name is Junior, that's not a good sign.
Just don't get it. Don't get it. Anyway,
we can't do it. You gotta have to.
I took care of it. I took care of it. So, all right, Miss Hawkeye, you had something? Is that you on the bottom? Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Ernest.
Hello, nice meeting you.
No, baby, I'm Valerie. We've been
I
talking.
didn't realize it was you. How you doing today?
I'm good, sweetheart. I've been sitting here listening. So, I'm gonna echo Mr. Rowe. And remember the first time we talked, first thing I said was how good of a person Mr. Denali was.
Yes, yes.
Him to do this is a lot. Because this is his platform, and you see what happens when somebody uses a voice. He's got a voice. He's got a big voice. So that's awesome. And second thing is he also has a resume, Denali. I don't know if people want that, but he's got resumes he can send to people as well. Mm-hmm. And it's very good resume. And also, I was just you've been talking today, Mr. Ernest. One of my Atlanta contacts that I talked to, she in Atlanta, we're gonna try to set up a sales meeting for sales, and she's an office manager, so we're gonna try to get some salespeople together and see what we can do. You know, when me and you's talked, and you know, like I told Mr. Denali the first night, that I can't promise and guarantee anything.
Right.
But the main thing is we're all reaching out to our contacts. And we are going to push forward for you because it's all about positivity. You earned it 100%. And I told you, yes, you did. And so and I told you one of these days, man, you're going to meet up too, because I definitely want to give you a hug. That's the first thing I want to do. I told you from minute one.
Be my honor.
Hey, I told you from minute one, you had my heart. You had my heart just from the first time I heard your story. And I don't think that you realizing that how many people you're helping with your story. Like all the people that's come up and talked to you, like there's a lot of people that's got a story. So you keep going and you keep pushing, and I will call you tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll talk some more this week. But I just wanted to come on to tell you that that I love you. I love what you're doing.
I love you back, and thank you for your generosity.
I know. Hey, you know what? It's all my pleasure. Don't even say thank you. You've done enough. So, anyway, I'm gonna put myself back on mute. But I just wanted you to know that I'm here. I'm listening. I'm with you. I know we're gonna find something, and it's all up from here, sweetheart.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. I couldn't agree any more with Miss Hawkeye.
God bless you.
Absolutely. And God bless you that you're here to tell this amazing story and to give other people inspiration and allowing people to do things for you. You know, your cousin told me when we were out there, he said what you were going on, and what I tell you, I told you, closed mouths do not get fed.
Yeah,
remember I told you that?
You said that. Yeah.
Your cousin said, hey, you know, he's doing these interviews, but he needs some help. And I said, and I told you, closed mouths do not get fed. So I'm so happy that you were humble enough to open up, and you're seeing a little bit about what people is on their hearts to do by telling your story and being genuine and being transparent. So there you go. I don't know if there's anything else to say. I mean, we've been going for 3.5 hours. Mr. Montgomery came here and gave us his testimony. I love it, 100%. Let's see. I hate to leave. Let's see what we got.
I have one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead,
Mr. Montgomery.
Yes.
It might be more than one thing, but
no
as of
problem.
right now, I like to keep things simple. But Mr. Montgomery,
yes,
I know I would never be able to imagine how someone feel after 49 years wrongfully, in prison. But I want to tell you, you are a free man.
Yes, thank God.
And as a free man, you are able to live like any one of us. I know, minus that income that you so badly need. But I just want you to try to think about, as you go on in life, if you could not put it out of your head, everything that happened, but it may tend to scare some folks, like, let's say, when you're going for a job, an interview, or what have you, and then you get to start talking about, I've been locked up for 49 years. It may have a hindrance on scaring a lot of folks. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I'm
I've experienced that already. Yes, I know what you're saying because I have experienced rejection because of that.
Yes, and so what I wanted, again, all I'm just trying to say is you're a free man. You're 68 years old or 67. You need
68.
a job. Yeah, 68. You need a job. If someone send you, like Hawkeye, have some prospects, you go, you talk to the folks, you do whatever. But I wouldn't go into any great length about how long, what happened, and all of that. It's good to write a story, but for someone to just give you that job, they'll be like, I know I'm going to pass on that, instead of just saying, I'm going to give this guy a chance.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. And it's good advice.
Start living as a free man. Yeah, start living as a free man. Don't worry about nothing happening. Oh, there are police over there, and it may give you some jitters. You are a free man. And your record, if anybody would run it into the system, it would show you a free man.
Right.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And we're gonna talk, but you have to follow me, because I've already followed you, and I'm gonna be sending you I'm gonna send you a message, and it's gonna have my number so we can talk instead of texting, and so that I can either help you on the right road.
Well, I would definitely contact you.
The last thing. If you had your license, and I don't know how it is in the Atlanta area. I know how it is in Louisiana. Uber will give you a vehicle. It's almost like they will rent you a vehicle, and you can go out there and earn your own keep, and you pay for that vehicle with the folks that you pick up, however much that you have to pay back. Like,
yes, okay.
I have someone that I know, and they had wrecked their vehicle, so they didn't have a vehicle. And I didn't know. She went to Uber. I was like, how you get this nice, a Tesla? And then she had a utility vehicle, brand new cars. She said, well, this is with Lyft.
Whoa, look at that.
I worked
Hunter
2
Girl
days.
said he can use her car to get his license and practice. Hunter Girl, look at that. What I tell you, Mr. Montgomery?
Mr. Montgomery.
Thank you.
And
But the
she's out
finish
there
that,
where you're at. She's
go
out there
ahead.
in Conyers, Covington, Mr. Go ahead, Mr. Rowe.
No, the
Okay,
finish
thank
that,
you. That's wonderful. I appreciate that.
the
That's how
finish
you
that,
ended up there meeting him, right? Through Hunter Girl.
Well,
oh,
Hunter
that was
Girl
great.
gave me the flyer for the church event, and so yeah, she sent it to me, and I said, okay, I'm going to go, and that's what happened. Absolutely. Go ahead, Mr. Rowe. Go ahead and finish landing your plane, sir.
Yeah, I was just gonna finish it up. You get the license. I'm almost 100% sure in the Atlanta area, if you contact the Uber or Lyft, they have the vehicles. They'll rent it to you. Like the person that I know, they said they work 2 days, and that paid for the vehicle, and all of the other days is they keep.
Right.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
going to have many options. I know it. I feel it. I know it. It's already been written. He's going to have options, and he's going to be like, you know, Mr. Denali, I think I'm going to sleep on this because I don't know what to do. He's going to converse, counsel with his cousin, Mr. Melvin, the mathematical genius, and that's what's going to happen. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Miss Caroline. She did donate something to Mr. Denali. And Miss Yo-Yo, they warm my heart. Miss Caroline said, just because. And Miss Yo-Yo said that she is proud of me. Coming from Miss Yo-Yo, that means a lot to me. You know, the fact that people are recognizing what I'm trying to do.
So, Mr. Rowe, who you voting for in this November? Who you voting for?
You know, I don't, Mr. Montgomery, I don't want to yell in front of you, but I would have handled that guy a little bit different had you not been here. So, you know, I would have handled that completely differently, but I don't want to yell. I'm trying to be calm, so I'm not going to do that. But the fact that Ms. Yo-Yo and everybody else who has sent me texts and things like that, private DM, that they understand what it is I'm trying to do. You know, this platform is about helping people teach.
Uh-oh.
Did you drop the call?
No. Somehow I lost your audio.
Yeah, Mr. Denali, we can't hear you.
They reported.
Hello.
The others hear you.
We can hear you, Mr. Montgomery, just at Mr. Denali. Sometimes on TikTok it happens where the audio has a problem, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, this is new to me as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. But I was telling them that in prison, you know, they don't allow us to use phones, cell phones or computers because the prison administrations, at least in Michigan, they think of the worst scenario first. And so the potential of a computer or a phone to them is something that is a dangerous weapon. And so they don't allow us. They never allowed us to use computers, you know, personally, that's connected to the internet. And so all of this is new to me, and I'm learning, you know, a little something new every day about how to use computers and smartphones. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, my mic went out because of it ran out of juice, so took it off. All right, but that's the situation. Thank you so much, everybody. But I think that's it. I think we've done enough show. I really do. I want to get this downloaded and put up on YouTube as soon as possible. You guys, like I said, if you want to see the full interview, you can go over to at Mr.DenaliXXL on YouTube, at Mr.DenaliXXL on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, and it'll be up and you'll be able to see it. Share it out as many times as you can to people so they can see this amazing story and go from there. But I think that good things are about to continue to happen for Mr. Montgomery with the help of God and the help of people with kind hearts and things like that. So you definitely have inspired me, and I'm sure you have inspired many people in the listening audience. Okay.
Excuse me,
Will you
Mr.
be back on
Denali.
later?
Yes, Mr. Montgomery.
Huh?
Yes. Would you like, since my cousin Melvin Bobo was responsible for us talking to each other, could he say a word or two to you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Bobo is a great
Okay.
man. I shook his hand and I looked
Okay.
at him. He's a
Here he is, right
mathematical
there.
genius. Yeah, right on, cowboy. Let's go.
Mr. Denali, this is Melvin Bobo, Melvin L. Bobo III. I just want to say
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. God is great.
Yes, all the time.
One, I'm not a genius, but God blesses me. Two, I want to just say to everyone, as I was sitting here listening, it is such a blessing. I've known Brother Montgomery. I know Mr. Montgomery. I call him Monty since we were in the fourth grade.
Wow.
And through the time, I've always asked about what was going on, and he shares. His uncle is my cousin, and would always talk about him. But I want to say he has come out of prison with vitality. He has come out of prison with a sense of urgency to want to live. He pushed himself to want to live to this day. And a lot of folks give up hope. If we were to put hope in the dictionary, his face would come up as the most compelling example of hope, faith, patience, and the will to live. He encourages me just by his actions every day. He's staying here. I'm hoping that he can get on his feet. But it's just encouraging to see how he has come out with this energy to want to survive. And even some of us out here may need to take some lessons from him, that he's not holding a grievance against anybody, because that's energy not well spent. And we can take that energy to do something positive. So it warms my heart when I see people, when they hear his story, because knowing what he had gone through, I knew it was a compelling story, and even more people will hear it and want to help him. And that's what I'm trying to do. We all can't help each other in the same way, but think about what you can do. And I couldn't give him a lot of money because I didn't have it, but I could help him in a manner that would allow him to be at my home, and he could be able to have Wi-Fi and access to anything he needed just to get stabilized. So I'm praying to God that others will open their hearts and pour out. And I'm thankful for you, Mr. Denali. When I saw you out there, God said to me, speak to this man about your cousin. And I'm glad I did. And we each must have a heart to help each other. And you have shown yourself to be humble and want to open your heart to help someone else. And that's a powerful piece. So I thank you. May God bless you. May God continue to keep you and strengthen you. Here's Monty.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. If you don't know, the Black Eagle, Joe Madison, he always says, he preaches that everyone can do something. It takes a village, and it doesn't have to be the money, or just do what you can, because everybody's ability to help is different depending on where they're at in their particular life. But everyone can do something, and every little bit helps. It's like, you throw a pebble in the water and it ripples. It has that ripple effect. And that's what this platform was built for, to help teach and have difficult conversations. And we have them, and they go crazy sometimes. Let me tell you, the conversations of race, the conversations of trans, political conversations, but I think they're necessary. Just like you said, you lift weights, you tear the fiber of the muscle, and then it grows back even stronger.
Yes.
You got to have the conversations. You got to lift the weight. You got to push yourself when you're doing a bicep curl to tune that fiber down, and then it's going to grow back stronger. And that's how you build the muscle. And that's what I'm trying to do over here on the platform, having these difficult conversations, bringing awareness to people so that people can learn and respect each other's experiences. Your experience as a man who spent 49 years and 4 months in the prison is extraordinary. That you, as your cousin just said, And I said, the attitude of gratitude, no bitterness, no why me, I'm here, I'm alive, I got an opportunity. As long as we continue to wake up each and every morning, we have an opportunity to do something. And I salute you 100%. And your cousin, and he did. He came, he said, you want to talk to this man? I was okay, let's talk to him. And we had the conversation, and here we are. And I'm happy that the audience was able to help you, and they're going to continue to help you. Like I said, more opportunities, more options, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. God bless everyone.
I think that's it. I think we've done enough show. You know, in the entertainment business, we want to leave people wanting more. So we'll have more conversations.
I'll come back anytime you want me to.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Montgomery.
Nice meeting you. God bless you.
Mr. Denali, are you done for the day?
Yeah, I think I am done for the day. I got some things to take care of. We've been up since 3.
You got Edwin up here.
Okay.
Who's up here? Oh, Edwin.
Edwin.
Listen, Mr. Edwin, how you doing, Mr. Edwin? How are you, sir? I didn't see you. My apologies. Mr. Edwin. Mr. Edwin, how you doing? Unmute yourself. Come on, you're a veteran. Edwin, is he there? Knock. He's got a phone call. Let's give Edwin an opportunity. I don't want to close out on Mr. Edwin. Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. How you doing, Denali?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Mr. Edwin? What's going on?
I'm celebrating my birthday weekend. That's what I'm doing. But I rolled up on you.
I didn't know. I didn't get the memo about your birthday.
So I know you had a guest today.
Yes.
I was interested in hearing, but I did get a full opportunity. So I did want to say thank you for stopping into the Denali page, sir. It's a pleasure to have your arrival. So I did hear a little bit. So Try FM, it's good to see you. Denali, Mr. Rowe, Dr. Shay, everybody, Hawkeyes, what's up?
If you want, Mr. Edwin, you can. I'll have this episode up on Mr.DenaliXXL, Mr.DenaliXXL on YouTube. It'll be up. If not tonight, then tomorrow. Okay. So, yeah. I felt like this speech by Dr. Martin Luther King was very powerful. I started the show with that speech. And it always warms my heart, and I'm sure it does for a lot of people in the audience. So you can catch the full episode, Mr. Edwin, up on YouTube tomorrow, if not tonight.
Thank you. I will definitely go over there, like it up, comment it up. Again, I appreciate what you're doing in this space and this time for us. I think it's pivotal that we, as you said earlier, we have the conversation.
Right.
Because without the conversation, we can't have the change, because discussion is the genesis of the ideas that we need to bring together. So thank you for the continuing movement.
What did you hear about Mr. Montgomery? What did you hear? Do you know anything or?
Not as of yet.
Right. So he's 28 years old right now, and he spent 49 years and 4 months in Michigan Penitentiary for a crime he did not commit. He got out 14 months ago, and I met Mr. Montgomery a week ago Saturday at an event held by Stacey Abrams, and we were having a political conversation. And then when the cameras went off, he told me that it was his birthday, and also that he had just got out of prison 13 months prior to. We've been talking all week, and I told him I want to have him on the show to tell his story. And he came up at 3 and told his. I'm sorry. Oh, he came up and told his story, and we raised already to date $1,250 for him. And many people on the panel, Mr. Rowe, Miss Hawkeye, Miss Yo-Yo, Miss Hunter Girl just said that he can use her car to practice and to get his license. Because he's trying to figure out, how to move forward and get some things going on in his life. So that was basically what the story was about, and why Mr. Montgomery was blessed us enough to come and tell his story to us, because he definitely has been an inspiration to us today. So that's just a little brief synopsis. Mr. Edwin.
Well, it is absolutely amazing. I mean, here's the thing, you know, we've talked about people's ability to change, and, you know, the math is addition or subtraction. And so if this is the case, I look forward to his addition to his life that will carry on, inspire young folks that no matter what happened to you, things can change and turn in your favor. You know, at the end of the day, hope it breeds eternal. And so I wish him well. We are in support of him and prayers for his family. He transitions back to us with an effective message for us. So that being said, I will look at it and be in support of him for us all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Edwin. Mr. Edwin is an elder on the platform, and you know, he goes around and he, you know, blesses other platforms with his voice and his following and everything else like that. So good deal. Dr. Shay, I don't think there's anything else, right? Did I miss anything? I don't think so.
You was on point, and I love the Martin Luther King thing because it touches me a lot. I have a dream. Yeah, so that's perfect.
And yeah, so there you go. I think that's it. I think I'm going to close out with the Martin Luther King. It's got a minute left because I think it's a very powerful speech.
Everyone have a good evening.
You do the same, Mr. Montgomery, and I'll be in touch, okay? And I'm going to get those emails out to those people, and they'll be in touch. JP Strong has already reached out to me, and as soon as I get off the air, I'm going to pass along your email, and then you go from there, okay?
All right, thank you. I appreciate you.
Have a good one, Mr. Montgomery. Dr.
Yeah,
Shay.
thank you. You too. Have a wonderful evening.
Mr.Denali.
Thank you.
Talk to you all tomorrow.
Good night, everyone.
Okay, buddy.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty.
Woo! Can't go wrong with that. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.